Welcome to Journeys the Talk Show. Our show is now live and is hosted in Barbados by Sean Hall, co-hosted by Leroy Trotman, who is coming to you live from Toronto, Canada. And I'm Brett Callahan, coming to you live from Barbados. It is now 7 p.m. on Thursday, May 26, 2022. Our show is sponsored by the Barbados Turf Club, horse racing at the Garrison Savannah, and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., who invites all of our listeners to come and visit Barbados. We've got a busy show, guys, so let's get to it. Here's our hosts, Sean Hall and Leroy Trotman.
What's going on, guys? Good night. Good night, guys. Good night.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
How's it going, Brian?
I'm good, man. We're just having a little technical difficulties here getting our featured host, getting our special guest tonight on board. But Sean's working on him.
Yes.
Sean, would you like some more time to put you backstage?
Yes, thank you. Put me backstage.
Okay, great. Leroy, man, how's it going?
It's me and you, buddy. Well, it's pretty good. Pretty good up here in the beautiful weather with some rain on its way coming. We were going to have
rain?
We were going to have a first turf training tomorrow, and we already canceled already.
Oh wow!
You know, and it's pretty lushly green out there. Looking at that turf course, you're familiar with it.
Oh,
you know, and unfortunately, our grass racing is coming up soon too. You know, it's starting on the 4th, and unfortunately, the rain is ready to come and stop us already. And we're so looking forward to our grass race. You know. But you know how this goes. It's a long year and just the beginning. How's it going with you?
Let all of our members, all of our listeners know we're going to do our BTMI weekly racing report a little later on in the show. But was that correct? We had 3 Bajan jockeys win today?
Yes, yes, we did. And then
doing
let's not forget the veteran, Mr. Husband. He had 1 ride and 1 win. You know,
1 ride or 1 win.
With a good 24% win average right now. So he's clicking at the right average. So let's hope things keep rolling that way and not, picking up a lot of mounts right now because things are a little on the slower end. But we're still
the win percentage is still good though, right?
We have the best percentage on the top 10 riders, right? So excellent. let's remember that. And the other guys are falling and doing into his footsteps and doing the right things up here. So how's your day been going so far?
Busy, man. A little overcast. I don't know if you've heard of it. The Sahara dust is blowing across the island, so it kind of looks like it's cloudy and a lot of haze, but we're not seeing the sun as much as we used to. We're missing our blue skies for the last week or so, but hopefully that blows over soon. I think it was on BBC World News about it's like a massive plume of smoke, but it's actually the Sahara dust just coming straight across the Atlantic Ocean and covering us up too.
So we're not getting that dust like similar to what we got on the volcano, are we?
Not the volcano stuff. Thank God for that.
Okay. Just a light.
But I want to talk on behalf of Sean, Leroy, Hammer, our graphic designer and video guy, and all the team at Journeys. We want to thank Emma Jane Wilson for being our special guest on our last episode, number 6, on May 19th. Wasn't that awesome having Emma on?
Was it ever? Very well spoken. Everything went great too. It was very nice. I seen, not trying to cut you off, but Sean just sent up a message asking if you've seen our guest there yet.
Not as yet. He's not on board.
Okay, well, let's hope we can get that problem resolved soon. So yes, and back to your
I thought it was an extraordinary conversation with Emma during our last episode, and as we discussed in that episode, we've already started discussions with the Barbados Turf Club and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. We're actually putting things together in hopes of inviting both Emma Jane Wilson and Chantel Sutherland to our international jockeys Champion of Champions, Kings versus Queens at the Garrison Savannah. It's something we got in the works and getting some ideas from these lady jockeys. And we were thinking if we could get a champion of champions kings versus queens, men racing against women at the Garrison Savannah in the
Wow,
future.
that
We're
would
kind of
be
looking,
exciting.
we want to ask when the girls going to be convenient for them, but we're thinking maybe in December or January or early February. Maybe, who knows, near the Gold Cup time as well.
Well, hey, anything is possible, right?
Yep.
Anything is possible. Well, something to look forward to. And I mean, we can get some fans shipping down there also to visit, at the same time. It'd be great for our tourism and everything. Would be BTMI would be really grateful of that. And is
Yeah,
anybody else
man.
that we can involve into that too?
Man, we're trying to get them all involved, and I spoke to Rosette Pierce, the CEO of the Barbados Turf Club, and she
So,
said if you get that letter from the Tourism Authority, BTMI, that they're cover the accommodation and plane tickets, it's 95% there in action if you get it to work. So
okay, read your texts there. So Sean is sending some stuff
yeah,
out there, and he's asking some questions. So make sure
good.
we keep attention
Well,
to
while
that.
we're doing that, let's get Jennifer Morrison onto our show.
Okay.
She came up with a great pick last week in our Journeys Pick of the Week.
Yes.
Welcome, Jennifer. How are you today?
Hey, hi guys, how you doing?
Okay. Well, Jennifer, you slammed them last week. Let's see what you can do for us this week. Our fans out there waiting for the next pick. You put some money in your pocket. Let's see if we can put some more.
You want me to go 2 for 2? Do you? Yeah, no, it was fun.
Yes,
I
of
had
course,
the
man.
exactor in the Preakness, early voting onto Epicenter, paid $25.80.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good, and I actually played it for a couple more than $2, so that was really good. But yeah, I'm gonna give another pick this week, and then I'll touch on a race on Sunday. But I really like a horse on Saturday, you guys. Okay, I know it's not a big field, but she's 5-1 in the morning line. It's race 7 on Saturday. The horse is number 5, Loaded Question. Now I sent Brett is going to show a little replay here of her first start of the year. She was the number 2 horse. She's in the Yellow Silks of owner Frank DiGiulio. And her race was just a big mess from start to finish. I'll talk about it briefly after Brett shows the race. Watch the 2 horse in this race.
And they're ready, and they're off. Pretty good start out wide, Diamond Crush. Henry's Gamble began sharply and coming for the lead, Alpha Mia. And racing up towards the inside, Polar Appeal and Practical Gizmo. And they got away now from Henry's Gamble back to mid-pack. And over on the inside, Gormley Girl is striding forward. In behind them, Jolene all paid up, Loaded Question. And last of all is Kerrick's Beauty. Out in front, it's Diamond Crush, about a length and 3/4 to 2 to Polar Appeal. And racing up on the outside, Alpha Mia, 1 to Gormley Girl. And back in the centre, Practical Gizmo, caught wide Henry's Gamble, trying to get involved now. All paid up, starting to circle the field, although took a bit of a dip back as they came into the turn. Jolene, the centre. Loaded Question, the inside. Kerrick's Beauty will have to come from absolute last. Out in front, Diamond Crush, a length Polar Appeal. Racing third, Alpha Mia. Henry's Gamble's working overtime under the whip, but running on. Practical Gizmo's there. Kerrick's Beauty's coming from absolute last down the outside. Diamond Crush is out by 2.5. Henry's Gamble trying to make inroads, and down the outside comes Emma Jane Wilson on Kerrick's Beauty. But it's Diamond Crush, about a length and 3/4 to Henry's Gamble. Kerrick's Beauty and Diamond Crush keeps on going. Diamond Crush coming to the wire. Diamond Crush by a length and 1/4. Kerrick's Beauty from in the centre, Henry's Gamble, and then Practical Gizmo at Alpha Mia. 111.
So I know, so I know you're busy there, Brett, trying to get your guests hooked up. But Leroy, I don't know if you're watching. First
I'm
of all,
watching.
Question. Yeah, she had a terrible start. She got slammed. Whatever. Okay, so now she's riding the rail.
Yeah.
You know, the first 8 to 10 days of the season, you didn't want to be on the rail. It was it was treacherous. So anyways, I know what Daisuke Fukumoto's trying to do. He's just saying, he's probably got no chance from way back there. The horse likes to run to the lead. And then the rail never opens up all the way down the lane.
Yeah.
So
you got squeezed
really
twice there.
her. Yeah, she's adding blinkers for this race on Saturday. Same spot. Kevin Nichols is going to ride, and it's a smaller field. I hope we get 5-1. That's all I'm saying. But I really like Loaded Question, number 5 in the 7th race on Saturday. And then I thought, boys,
reopen my betting account at HPI.
I say open everybody's betting account. No, I'm not kidding. I just want to touch a little bit on the feature race. We have one stake this weekend, and that's Sunday, the Grade 2 Stella Artois Eclipse Stakes.
Yeah.
It's $175,000, guys, and it's
Wow.
the first time we get to see Mighty Heart back at Woodbine this year, two-time Horse of the Year, and yeah, he's back. And from all reports, from my friends that own the horse and stuff, he is absolutely almost unmanageable right now. He needs to run now. He had that one poor race at Keeneland, and I know Josie Carroll was sort of second guessing herself about running him there, whether he was fit enough. He was pretty eager, showed a lot of speed that day, and then sort of faded. So he's back on Lasix. He's got Patrick Husbands back on board, Leroy. And it's a 6-horse field. You know, he's going to go to the lead. I think Frosted Over, the 2-horse, is the horse to beat, who's going to track him all the way. But it'll be fun to see Mighty Heart back at Woodbine, and he's got a big chance.
And I must include those last 2 works that he worked. Patrick did work in one of those works, which was the one on May 15th. And he worked pretty damn good. He galloped out in 12 and changed that day,
Nice.
26 and changed that for 7/8. And Patrick was pretty excited the way he worked for him that morning. So I must include that into that. And then Tyler came back and worked him again this weekend. And Tyler was pretty happy the way he worked too. So I must say that
That's
I think we're on the right track there, Jen.
Well, that would be great. I'd love to see him win in his return.
Yes. And talk about Mighty Heart. We want to mention your book that was just, could you just?
Yeah, I'll just show it again. Of course, plug.
Excellent.
I'm actually selling them on the Woodbine backstretch on Saturday morning between 9 and 12. But yes, incredibly enough, it's now in the semifinalists for the Dr. Tony Ryan Award, which is a really prestigious award in Kentucky.
Thank you.
And the winner gets $10,000 US. Now I don't expect to win, but I'm in the top 6.
Come on, Jen. Come on, don't take those words. Come on, have a little more confidence in yourself there.
Get that out of there.
Confidence. Yeah, get that unexpected feeling out of here. Let's be more positive.
It's very thrilling though, because I'm in a nice little race there with 5 other books that are, I've already been searching them. There's like a fiction book, there's a kid's book, there's an interviews book. Anyway, it's very fun. I'm thrilled. In a couple of weeks, we'll find out who makes the top 3, and that would be a thrill. But anyways, I'm already thrilled and very proud that my little book is sort of muttering along here.
Well, we'll be cheering for you.
Thanks, guys. And I really appreciate you guys having me on. I hope Loaded Question wins on Saturday and Mighty Heart Sunday. And I'm looking forward to a great show you guys got. I know all the special guests and stuff going on there, so I can't wait to watch.
Okay, thank
Man,
you again.
It's been busy, but thanks so much, Jennifer.
Pleasure having you again.
Okay, bye.
Really appreciate it. Take care.
All right, Brent, what's going on backstage?
Loaded. I told you, man, I'm going to reopen my HPPI account, man.
Make some money. We got the Barbados the Turf Club.
Jennifer's got loaded me up.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone else should do the same.
Are we making?
Yeah, we're just having a few issues with our guests. One of our guests. It's always a technology issue, and Sean, our host, is taking the step to actually assist him. So, thank you, Sean, for all your help. But do you know what else exciting has happened this week, Leroy?
I guess you're gonna share it with me.
You don't know?
Let's have it. Let's have it.
Well, we've described that we have the Barbados Turf Club as one of our primary sponsors.
Yeah.
And the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., who've graciously supported the Sean Hall Journeys, the talk show. And we really look forward now to introducing Marianne Ortepi to our show.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
On behalf of our newest sponsor, mpequine.com. McKee Pownell Equine Services from up in Schaumburg. I got that right, didn't I, Marianne?
Yes, you did. Yeah. Well done. Well done.
So Marianne and her team, including Mike and everyone else, all the other veterinarians up there, are strongly supporting our show. And we want to invite Marianne to tell us a bit more about their business. We read that they offer equine veterinary care focusing on lameness, sports, horse medicine, pre-purchase exams, dentistry, podiatry, and preventative health care for our heroes, the equine athlete themselves, the thoroughbred horses. Tell us
Correct.
all more, Marianne.
Yeah, actually, we do all kinds of horses. Dr. Melissa McKee and Dr. Mike Pownell started McKee Pownell Equine Services in 2002. The first practice location was in Campbellville. Over the years, they expanded to Newmarket and Caledon, adding, veterinarians and support staff in the way of, veterinary technicians and so on as they grew. And so 4 years ago, they decided to open a rehab and repro facility at a farm just north of Nobleton in Schomberg, Ontario. And so we have a 100-acre farm. We have availability for 19 stalls we can fill. We have 4 15 by 15 sand pens for turnout. We have 7 half-acre paddocks. We have a 70 by 180 foot arena, which is a lovely arena, which actually we took the old polytrack. It's actually the old polytrack from Woodbine is in our arena. So it's a really great surface to kind of, we do a lot of hand walking, a lot of, lunging, a lot of just starting horses back up after injuries, soft tissue injuries, and so on. Like you said, we have all those different, acupuncture, veterinary spinal manipulation therapy. We have four veterinarians that work out of that particular practice, but we do have 2 other locations, one in Campbellville and one in Uxbridge. In Campbellville, we have a standing MRI machine that we use. So yeah, we do. That's Dr. Kate Robinson that you're seeing there. She's the head of the farm. We do have the 4 vets that work out of there, but they all pitch in to do rounds every day. So all the patients are being seen by a veterinarian every day, and I
that's
think
great care.
Yeah, actually, it's wonderful. We have a body worker named Marnie Raymond. She does laser, PEMF, Beamer, massage, equitaping. She is one of the most unbelievable people that I've been around. I've been around some really good horse people, and she's just very connected with these horses. And she does that on the farm as well as doing farm calls outside, off of our property. So we take we don't have the pools and we don't have this and that, but we take a very simplistic approach. I have some really great staff that are highly skilled, have been working with race horses, but we also have a lot of show horses, a lot of backyard horses. We don't turn anybody away, really. If we can help them out after doing, if they have colic surgery or any kind of thing that isn't easily handled by the farm that they're going back to, we kind of give them that the place to do that in a quiet, controlled environment. I mean, it's a really peaceful environment. We have a lovely setting that we are able to take these horses, even if they're well behaved enough, we take them outside and we walk them outside, and they get sunshine on their back. They're not stuck in a stall. We try and make it as much like home as possible, but still giving it the controlled environment that they need. So but and we have an ophthalmologist that comes in and books appointments once a week. We'll have a day of like 6-7 ship-ins that come in, and then the eye care after that we can handle. Sometimes it's treating a horse's eyes with 7 different medications 5 minutes apart, 2 hours every 2 hours. So at home, at a home farm, it's difficult to handle that, but we have the staff and the skill to be able to manage those kind of treatments and to do it well. We have a vet doing rounds every day looking at the horses on the farm, and so we have that kind of added edge that we have more eyes and more skilled people handling those horses.
We love our listeners to know that there are many people around the racetrack, including jockeys, owners, grooms, hot walkers, that love our animals, our heroes of the sport.
Well,
so it's really good to have them on board.
one so much that I traveled all the way to Barbados last week to go and see him, and he was one that I had the pleasure of working with at our facility. After he had
Tell us more about that. Corsi, was it?
That's right. His name was Corsi. As a 2-year-old, he was undefeated. His first 2 races were spectacular, really impressive. Trained by Josie Carroll, and he was along with Mighty Heart. He was the same year as Mighty Heart, and they were both aiming for the Queen's Plate and training really well. And unfortunately, he sustained an injury from a loose horse on the track that ended up running into him, and he sustained an injury that they thought would be, career ending. His owners really believed in him and sent him to us. One of his owners is a good friend of mine. I used to work yearling sales for him when I was like 16, 17, when I first, moved up here from the States. And so, he came up to us, and he was a handful. He was a tough little 3-year-old colt, but he was a special horse, and he really kind of caught my heart a little bit. And we worked with him, got him back under saddle, got him, back into training, and kind of we did as much as we could do with him, and then suggested he go elsewhere to continue on.
Well, this is where Sean Hall, our host, comes in. Sean.
Exactly.
Yes. And I'm so happy that you come with us today, Marianne. And well, we did an interview. We did a video shot.
Before we get to that, Sean, I want to find out some more about this horse and Marianne and you, and how we connected the horse together. Tell us that story before we show the video.
Well, let me tell you something. Marianne been calling me about this horse for such a long time. And at first I was telling her, Marianne, I don't think Barbados have that sort of money just to bring a horse that's just going to be a stallion. You know what I mean? We can't, we're not that money. We don't have that money down here playing around. And she kept calling. You know what I mean? When he got
persistent,
injured,
she was very persistent.
She told me, all right.
I'm a little like that.
Well, no, your love of the animal, the love of the animals, the love of the animal. That's what it takes.
Yeah, but she then told me that he was in training, and then next, he was racing, and then I was watching him run, and his first start was very nice. He led all the way, and then he got caught late, and then his second start, I said, I gotta watch it one more time, because I just can't.
Second time around.
Yeah,
after the second time around.
He didn't run very good at all, and then Glenn told me to make an offer. Made an offer and tell me you could pick him up tomorrow. It was that easy, and so I promised him. And I promised Marianne, I promised everybody I'd do my best with this horse, and I'll make sure that I would, because I do the laser treatment myself. I'm the laser guy here in Barbados, so I treat him every day. I train him in the sea. I do everything possible for this horse to make sure he stays sound.
We saw him on Sunday at the beach, didn't we, Sean?
Well, and that was the main thing that I thought, because we did laser on him, we did acupuncture, we did all kinds of things, and it helped, right? So when we suggested that he go down and swim, that really helped him, and I think without that, I don't think he would have made it. Correct. So when he ended up having these 2 races that he just wasn't running to the level that his owners wanted him to run to, I kind of thought, what, he's sound, he's sound, he's happy, he loves what he does.
Yes.
But he needed a place where he wasn't, hammering himself every day on the track. And what a perfect place, Barbados, to go and swim. And I knew he could swim because he was doing that to rehab. So, yeah.
But Sean, how many horses get the pleasure of coming to the Caribbean Sea and swim every day in the ocean? I mean, that horse is fun.
And then having some person at vet to follow him down there too.
Visitor.
Now I'm not a vet. I'm not a vet.
Okay.
Hang around Greg long enough to know what's going on, though.
Yes.
And you're dying.
What's going on.
Yeah.
So, you want us to give us a little taste of that video there, Greg?
Video. Yeah. Absolutely. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Sean Hall from Journeys here with Marianne DeGans. This is the lady who really got this horse Corsi to the island. She's been telling me about this horse for so
long. I know, what, 3 years? 3 years now.
Long. You were telling me about this horse until you got me to get my clients to buy him. Tell me about this horse, please.
Well, Corsi was a really impressive 2-year-old. He won his first 2 starts very impressively, trained by Josie Carroll up at Woodbine. He then took the winter, went down to Florida, trained, came back up and had an unfortunate accident on the track where another loose horse had run into him, and he had a shoulder injury that you know, looked like it was going to be career-ending. How I had met him was he came up to, I work for a company called McKee Pownell Equine Services, which is a group of veterinarians, and we have a rehab farm just north of Woodbine, north of Toronto, and he came up to us for some rehab and to see if we could get that shoulder back in order. And you know, we worked with him for a number of months, got him back under saddle and got him training lightly. And then really the best thing for him was to go down and swim. So we suggested to the owners that he be sent down to Kesmark in Kentucky, which is a wonderful rehab facility. And he ended up going down there and really thriving, doing really well with the swimming. The lack of concussion really helped him build that shoulder. And you know, he came back to Woodbine and he started twice, and he just couldn't run to the level that he ran before. And you know, he was one of the main contenders for the Queen's Plate in his 3-year-old year. He was doing so well. And so, you know, the owners wanted to do right by him and didn't want to carry on, you know, drilling him up there. And you know, working on the track all the time isn't all that good. And so I thought that it would be perfect for him to come down here to you when I see all these beautiful horses swimming, and that's how you train them down here, you know. And it obviously he looks amazing, and he's done well, and we decided to travel all the way down here to see him. I've never gone this far to see a horse, but he's a special boy. He's a special boy.
That's great, man. So I'm so happy that, you know, you could go back now with some good reports.
Absolutely. No, he is
thriving.
Well.
He's thriving well. He's doing everything. You know, he wants to be a cribber.
I know. I just gave him an apple. Now he wants to crib. It's my bad influence.
So I mean, so you know, it's very important that you are here to see this, and I really, I'm so pleased. I don't know what to say.
I'm appreciative to you, because I knew, you know, sending him down here, he's the kind of horse that loves an adventure. He loves seeing new things, and you know, I hope that eventually, unfortunately he wasn't able to run this weekend because they canceled racing, and it's going to be next weekend, but I hope that he has a successful career, and then hopefully he can go on to breed some mares, and he's very well bred, and you know, I thought that it would be a good idea to bring his blood down to the islands, and he's just such a good looking individual and very talented.
Well,
so
Marianne,
high
all
hopes.
I could tell you, man, is thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sending. I mean, he's a magnificent looking horse. He fits very well in our circle of horses down here because of his nice strong size and everything. When he's finished, you know, to be a stallion. And I really appreciate that. And all I can say now is this is Journeys, and we are out.
Wow.
So Marianne.
Y'all are gonna make me cry again seeing him. You know, you guys Sean had to contend with me being all weepy, leaving there the other day, but
But before you go, Marianne, I wanted to say and let all of our people know out there that mpequine.com on YouTube has over 2,560 subscribers on their YouTube channels. So we invite all of our viewers to check out. I think you have what, 80 plus videos on
I think
YouTube
so. We
channel?
we do a lot of education. We do a lot of there's a lot of really interesting videos to check out there, you know, about how to do different bandages, different information about horses.
So
you know,
it's
different
very
therapies
educational to our viewers.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of stuff you can find on there. Yeah, and hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll get to meet some of our veterinarians and learn a little bit more about what we do at the farm.
Be a pleasure. Be a pleasure.
Yeah,
that's excellent. Apparently, there are many exciting and very educational videos published that can help educate horsemen from all around the world, not just Canada.
That's
So
right.
meet the veterinarians, who they are and what they do. We
Yeah.
thank you, Marianne, for
Thank you.
supporting Journeys, the talk show, on behalf of Sean, Leroy, Hammer, and the whole team. We really look forward to working with you and the
Yeah.
team
All
at
right.
MP Equine.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Thank
Marianne.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey, Sean.
Well, guys,
Man,
let's get this
that's
show on the
great to
road.
get
Get
a
the
new
show
supporter,
rolling.
and they're doing such wonderful things for our equine athletes. So
That's right.
big up to them. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. But guess who we have now, listeners? The star of the show,
Yes.
champion Jamaican and Canadian jockey George Hosang. Welcome, George, to our show.
Thank you, Brett. I like that intro.
We try.
How are you
How you
doing?
doing?
I'm doing great. I'm I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I know I'm old, but I'm not
No,
forgotten.
no, you never
Because
too
of
No,
old.
guys
no.
like you.
No, don't use that old word in there at all.
We're
You're still
all
a
getting
young,
Well,
you're
older.
still
it's
a
been a
young
long
fella.
time. It's been 20 or some years since I stopped riding.
Yes.
So
Wow.
But you're still in
As
the game though.
ex-jockey.
You're still in the game because they're naming races after you and stuff like that. So you're
oh
still in the game.
yes.
Yeah.
Came
Where
on
is
as
that?
part.
They're naming a race, Leroy,
Let me
in
just turn up this
Woodbine?
volume a little here.
No, in Commanders
Caymanas.
Park. Commanders
Caymanas.
Park.
Caymanas, yeah. They have the George Hosang Trophy, runs
Yeah.
the end of January each year.
Yes.
I'm
And you've
so-
been down for one of those before too,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you know what? I was going just this year, but I'm in the last running of it, and the COVID thing took over for 2 years,
Wow.
and
You
I
get
had
a
to
chance to go
So,
down.
but I intend to do it next January.
Okay.
So
January.
I feel very proud of it that at least a
Very
race
good.
has been
Yeah.
damn
Yes.
forgotten.
Well, you've made a name for yourself in this game that you know that we all love so much. So hey, why not? And you are one of the best riders that come out from down there too. You know, Jamaica produces a lot of great riders, and you're one of the best, or probably the best.
Thanks,
You know,
man. I appreciate it.
of guys would say that. You know what I mean? But before, guys, we get into your journey, George. We lost a real great friend, all of us, but the one he was very close to you, became very personal to you, which is Chris Hammond. And I know you sent out your condolences and all that already, but I want to hear a little bit more about that friendship that you created with him before we get into your journey, because we can't leave out good guys like that, and especially when he's so close to you.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, Chris was a man with so much racing knowledge
Mhm.
from all over the world.
Correct.
And I got really close to Chris was when I was riding full time in Florida on the big occasions in Jamaica, like the Derby Days and the Super Stakes. He would invite me down, and he would book mounts for me.
Like
And we
Way
got
to go.
close, and they were like he booked all winners for me.
Mhm.
But I messed up on a few, and but he's a great horseman. I mean, he introduced the claiming system in Jamaica and the of online betting
Mhm.
and things like that improved. He was a futuristic guy. You know, he was a visionary guy.
That's right.
So he brought the future to Jamaica, and I think that what he did should be appreciated for generations to come.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's a sad loss.
and not only
to
that,
see.
he's a big, jolly guy, funny
Yes.
guy. You know, when you're around Chris, he was always laughing and joking. You can't help but have a good time when he's around.
Well, when you have a guy like that around you, you can only. And I mean, his father, his grandfather, and all that was associated with racing also too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you know what? He introduced me one. I think it was the Hall of Fame that he introduced me to. The introduction of me at the time when I was receiving, I think it's the Hall of Fame in Jamaica.
Oh, so he was
And
introduction to you.
the way he introduced me was like I had to get up and say, Chris, I would love to stay here all night and listen to you talk about me. The guy just went on
That's
and
that
on.
good.
I mean, it made me feel like 10 feet tall, So,
I
I
mean, that had to be
absolutely,
something big because a guy like your career has been so rich that you should be
yes,
accustomed to hearing good things. So, I mean, for him to do that to you, man, and it just proves
boy.
though that
I
even
tell you,
though,
he bigged me up that night. Boy, I
yeah,
tell
even
you.
though your career is over and it's still good to hear those good things, man.
Yes, yes, I
Still good.
appreciated that a lot.
Was he one of the guys that got that nice horse, Viceroy? Got you on that horse?
Yes, he was the one that got me on that horse, that big historic race between the Viceroy and Milligram, which was the Triple Crown winner in Jamaica at that point.
Hmm.
And the backlash. They don't have to tell you what happened
Oh
in
yeah,
that race.
yeah. But he was
It's on
that
YouTube and all
connection.
that.
You guys just had that great connection, and he does some great things for you, eh?
Yes, yes.
Well, that's
Really,
Well,
great.
George, we got a little video to show you. George, check
yes.
out.
Super Stakes. They're off. Telegram comes away well within. That's Jack Roddick. The Viceroy is over toward the rail along with President-elect as they come rushing past us for the first time with Jack Roddick going out now to set the pace. Dancing Wolf is leaping up to take him on as they go toward the clubhouse turn. The Viceroy is settled down into third. Cruising back of him, fourth, that's a Milligram. Classic toward the outside. President-elect is running the rail. Right there too, that's Indian Jewel and Aim to Please. Orient Express is toward the rear. Antarctica is forced to take the turn wide, running just ahead of Adjudicator and Monteverdi. At the back, it is Midas Touch. Some 15 lengths separating first from last as they turn over on the back stretch. Just about 6.5 furlongs remaining, and it is Dancing Wolf who sets the fractions. 2 lengths ahead of Jack Rollick, looping along easily into second. The Viceroy is tracking them a close-up third. 5 lengths back to Milligram, held up fourth. He's running just ahead of Indian Jewel into fifth. Toward the inside, that's President-elect running ahead of Aim to Please. Then Antarctica behind him, Orient Express with work to do from here. 2.5 lengths back to Adjudicator. Midas Touch now asked to quicken, going ahead of Classique as they go away down the back stretch. They come away now, leaving the half-mile pole. And with the lead, the Viceroy now pounces on Dancing Wolf. Milligram is going in chase already. Jack Rollick is on the fade as they come away toward the 3-furlong marker in the Super Stakes. And up front as they pass the 3, it is the Viceroy just the leader. Taken on now by Milligram, a length adrift. They lead the 5:16. Dancing Wolf is fighting on the rail, but the Super Stake field turned for him. With the Viceroy just the leader. Milligram, the little machine, pouncing on him toward the outside as they head toward the furlong pole. And Milligram looks to pick up a slim lead. The Viceroy is trying to fight back under Georgie Hosang. They've got a furlong to go. It is Milligram just the leader. The Viceroy rallies strongly toward the inside, and the Viceroy regains the lead into final 16. Milligram now is looking to be shutting down the Viceroy, hanging on under George Hosang to take it from Milligram and Orient Express. I want to.
Hands and heels, man.
Were you guys watching that?
Yes,
Oh yes,
Yeah, we were
yes,
watching,
yes.
sir.
Ironically, that Milligram, that horse was owned by a very, very good friend of mine,
Mhm.
Milligram, and he was gonna get 5 million Jamaican dollars bonus to win
Wow.
that race.
Wow.
Wow, and you took that away, eh?
Well, the guy is not my friend anymore. But, and at that time, the Jamaican dollar was much stronger than today, so it was
Yes.
kind of nice chunk of change.
Yes.
His horse would have won it.
But George,
You
well,
saw
let me
George
ask you-
just before the wire look back and look at the horse.
No, but what I want to ask George, by
Yeah.
the time when you won that race, that was in 1991, I think it was.
Yes,
You were, yeah, but you were champion many times over already in Jamaica and in Canada.
Canada.
How,
Yes.
how did that? What did that winning that race mean to you at the time? I mean, because the Super Stakes is a big thing in Jamaica.
Yes, it was. It was. Let me tell you something. At that time, the purse money was $1 million. The first $1 million race in Jamaica, which
Right.
was
Wow.
quite a bit of money at the time.
Yes.
But only because Chris was at the wheels.
Uh-huh.
He promoted so many things, and the purse money was getting, like doubled every year.
Yes.
under Chris Armand's management. So that's what he did so great for racing in Jamaica, and that was attracting owners that are, people with cash flow
Yes.
to
Yes.
invest in horses because the purse money could pay them back.
Right.
Yes, which is
So it
important
was
in
a
this game.
solid investment for them, and they were coming, and then something happened, and the racing kind of, I think, went backwards a bit
Uh,
after the 70s. After the 70s, I think Cayman and Spark suffered some setbacks, and the purses went stagnant, and the Jamaican dollar devalued, and here we go again in an economic mess.
yeah.
Mm, mm.
Well, before we jump too far ahead, George, a lot of people that don't know you and hear about you, because I know there's a few guys. And when I was talking that you were going on a show at the track, because I'm at Woodbine. I'm an agent at Woodbine, so I'm working at Woodbine presently. While those guys are in Barbados, I'm up here, and I was
Leroy.
yes,
Leroy.
yes,
Tell George the truth. You're telling that you're the agent for, or
Patrick.
or equivalent to you, George, Patrick Husbands.
I'm Patrick's husband's agent.
Husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Patrick's husband's
Yeah.
agent.
You get a fist bump.
Okay, George. Okay.
Patrick, I
But-
met Patrick a couple of times in Miami way
Yes.
back, and
Okay.
But
But before we get
strong guy.
yeah, before we jump to that, I want to go back in there because this show is about you, and I want the fans out there that haven't seen you in a while and haven't get to know about you and who don't know about you. We want to jump a little further back into the '60s because that's where you started, and you started with a trainer called Fitz Crawford.
There are people out there that don't know about me.
Well, I was unfortunate. There was a guy. I hope he's watching the show right now because I told him I was gonna pick on him too. This guy's name is from Trinidad and his name is Emmanuel
That's
Oxley.
right.
And I says, you don't know about George Hosang, man. Something's got to be wrong with you, man. The great George Hosang you don't know about. So that's what I want to speak about this right now, so he can hear that I'm talking about him. So
He's
tomorrow
living
night,
under a rock.
yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, George. So for a guy like him, that guy, I want you to familiarize him with who you are, how great a rider you are. But I'm still saying you're still at that level of a rider. So let's go back to the '60s where you were with trainer, started with Fitz Crawford. So
Well, you know me, I'm not the one to boast about myself. All right,
you're great. You're great. So give
Yes.
yourself a little pat on your shoulder. You didn't get where you are for nothing. All right.
Yeah.
There
All
you
right.
go.
I started back with Fritz Crawford in as an apprentice, learning to ride with Fritz Crawford, who used to train horses for my uncles.
Okay.
That's how I got started in the game. I have an uncle, Victor Lisu and Basil Lisu, that owned horses and raced horses.
Right.
So Fritz Crawford took me under his wings. I would say this is like the mid '60s.
Mhm.
So like what? That's 100 years ago.
I'm a child from the mid '60s, so don't go there.
Yeah. So anyway, it took me a few years under his tutelage to start race riding.
Mhm.
But at that stage where we didn't get a lot of practice because we had once a week racing.
Okay.
Horses were not. He didn't have a large stable. He had, I think, 12 horses, and I was just like getting on one horse a day to learn on, which was my uncle's horse, right? So when I started riding, really, I didn't really know much about race riding because remember now in the '60s we had no cameras, we had no videos, we only could what our apprentice masters, we call them, who was Fritz Crawford, would tell us.
Right.
We didn't know how we looked on a horse because there's no cameras to tell us.
Mhm.
So I guess I look like a monkey on a horse. They had to tell me which way to sit on a horse, going backward, sitting forward. But anyway, when I started riding in 1969, I was hardly getting any rides. and I got depressed and all that, because this is what I really loved at the time, and I wanted to. It was unheard of that a Chinese would be riding horses at the time. Really, uh,
I'm
it
glad you
doesn't
said
matter.
that.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that.
and they would curse at me and told me to go
Yeah.
back in the shops,
Yeah.
in the shop, saltfish.
Oh,
The Chinese, which what most of the Chinese did back then in Jamaica.
Yes.
They tendered shops,
Mhm.
grocery shops. So that was the teasing that went on, and it took me like 2 years to win a race. Through uh, by then I had changed apprentice master to Errol Lim, who Sean probably knows of.
Yes.
Steve
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 Lim's
Lim.
dad.
Steve
Steve
Lim.
Lim's
Yeah.
dad. Yes.
Errol
Lim's
Lim
dad.
and Mike Lim,
Mike Lim.
his
Mike.
brother, yeah,
Yeah.
they were very instrumental in my upbringing as an apprentice in Jamaica. And when I went to Canada too, they backed me all the way. Laura
Yes.
Silver and Sean,
Oh Lord, that was my master.
But this I have to tell you, this true story, word for word. When I was getting depressed and couldn't win a race, I my uncle who owned and a syndicate by the name of the Fugitives, which is my uncle and his friends. They actually owned a horse named Creation that won the Jamaica Derby, and now he's a big horse, right?
Yes.
And my uncle went to Laura Silver, who was training Creation, and begged him to put me on the horse.
Right.
And Laura Silver said to my uncle, "This is not a ride for an apprentice."
Yes.
And he knows that I didn't know really what I was doing yet. I didn't have the strength and the experience yet.
Yes.
But my uncle pressed on, and Laura Silver said, "I make my living from my commission." So my uncle said, "Well, if George blows the race, I will give you your commission from my pocket." That's how much my uncle was backing me, because he's the one that got
Good
me into
support.
racing.
Good
Right?
support.
Right. Yes.
So this is what happened. Creation, I was on him, named on him in a race. I was like the hole in 1 to 5 favorite, something like that, and finish up the track.
Wow.
Because Laura Silvera was saying this is not a ride for an apprentice.
Yes.
He needs man handling or a strong rider.
Yes.
So my uncle, after the race, gave him the check for his commission. And you know what Laura Silvera did? He tore up the check.
Yes.
I said, "I know what you are trying to do for your family.
Yes.
But I will put him on the right horse when the time comes."
Yes.
And I tell you, Mr. Silvera, he's a gentleman.
Yes.
He's a man of his word, true, genuine man.
Yes.
Like a couple months down the road, when I was getting a little more experience, he put me on a horse, and it was like, he just said, "Jock, just don't fall off." And the horse name was Helen of Troy. And she just blew them away, and the winners just kept coming from Mr. Silvera. And also his brother picked me up, Michael Silvera, who you know, Sean.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And at the time, his dad, Owen Silvera, he's trainer too. So I was riding for the whole family. Lim, and I was riding good horses then. So I became the leading rider. On a third year, I started riding.
Can I ask you this question before we go any further? Did you ever ride Bonnie Blue Flag in Jamaica?
No, I was a kid and I was riding the rails at that time. Bonnie Blue Flag was a big horse at that time. And I used to go to the racetrack with my uncle, and that's how I got hooked on racing.
No, because Mr. Severe, that's the horse, he came to Barbados one time, saw this chestnut filly. He said, "Sean, this horse looked like a horse I had in Jamaica named Bonnie Blue Flag." He said, "I'm going to buy this horse for you." And just like what he did for you, he did for me. Because that horse was she was champion 2-year-old. She beat a Creole that beat the A class. So, it's the story you're telling me is the same type of thing that love that came to me at my time. You know what I mean? When I left him in Canada to go back home, he set me up. But I was hoping he would tell me, yes, you rode one with flag. So the story would be so much better.
So you became the top apprentice down there, George?
Yes, top apprentice, the first full year of riding, and then I won after that 4 years in succession, the leading rider.
Wow.
And you had two other competitive riders riding with you.
Yes, more than two. We had some great riders.
Two particular guys we're speaking about.
We're talking Richard De Paz was one, and there was Winston Griffiths and Emilio Rodriguez.
Rodriguez and Griffith.
Yeah, but there were the Panamanians, Joe Bravo, Albino Ubidia. Those guys were great riders too. Yeah. And in the wintertime, we had Lester Piggott, Joe Morrison, and a host of other English riders that came down. So we had a pretty busy winter season there in Jamaica.
Lester Piggott used to ride in Jamaica with you?
Every winter.
Wow.
That's and cool. In reciprocation,
that's going back history, Sean.
Yeah, I went to England to ride on his invite, Joe Mercer and Lester Piggott.
Great.
Wow. So tell us about that experience in England.
It was great. I mean, if you don't go to England and see England or France and see turf racing,
yes,
boy, you haven't seen turf racing yet. I mean, like miles and miles of grass that looks like carpet.
Yes.
Wow.
Correct.
I mean, you don't go and come back after a race and tell a trainer, boy, I got shut off. You have like miles and miles of race to work with. If you get shut off, you should be shot. That was a great experience, though, and I appreciated that a lot. In reciprocation, when they spend the winters there, it was arranged, I think, by Jack Ashenheim back then, was a president of the Jockey Club in Jamaica at the time.
Wow.
So that was my experience in Europe.
I
rode 2 races. Yeah, I got 2 races I rode 2 races at Newmarket.
Okay.
Wow.
I never rode in a field of 26 horses before, and that was an experience.
Wow.
And a 2-year-old race.
Wow.
Going a straight mile.
A straight mile. Wow.
Yeah. I did manage to finish 3rd on another horse that was trained by Lester Piggott's father-in-law, whose name is Armstrong. I forget his first name, but he was Armstrong, his father-in-law. So, I mean, that was. I've ridden too in Venezuela and Puerto Rico as well. Mm-hmm. So I was traveling.
The experiences out there? Did you win races out there too?
In Venezuela?
Yes.
Well, that's another good story I can tell you about. I was invited down there because we had Venezuelan riders coming to Jamaica to ride on occasions. So I was invited back down there to ride for Millard Zaidi, who everybody knows in Venezuela that he was a champion trainer for many years.
Right.
They race on Saturdays and Sundays, and Millard Zaidi named me on 9 of his horses.
Oh.
It's 8 or 9 horses, but I'm not sure now that after I tell you this story, what happened. The first horse he put me on, this was a 2-year-old. Horse was like 1 to 9 or something like that. Was in front, and we hit the turn. The saddle went right over the side, and I fell. And the same horse I was riding stepped in my knee.
Wow.
So they had to ambulance me off the track, and I wound up in the hospital with a big blown knee. And the 9 horses, 6 of them won. And I'm watching the races because they televise it in the hospital everywhere, because racing was like the sport in Venezuela, right? And I'm just like killing my. I want to like I hit myself in the head. Here, what happened in Venezuela? The racetrack is so high above sea level that horses have a difficult time breathing.
Yes, I heard that.
So they don't pull too tight on the girths.
Oh.
Now nobody tells me this because I don't speak a word of Spanish and they don't speak a word of English. So nobody told me that the girth is not really as tight it should be
Yes.
to help the horse breathe. So that's why when I hit the turn, Sagilos went over to the side.
Yes. You kind
I
of
came
shift
off,
weight.
and that was the story of my trip to Venezuela. I could have been like a superstar, riding 6 winners, and wound up in the hospital.
So you never went back? You never went back?
No, I didn't go back.
Oh dear.
But you know, I wish I was invited again.
Yes.
But it didn't happen because I think racing was sort of getting, the country was turning then.
Mm-hmm.
As I guess you're gonna ask me what happened, why I left, right? So,
Well, let's before we get into that part of the story, because I mean Jamaica has some great races over the times, derbies, all kind of competitive races, prestige races, and I want to know a little bit of how much of those races you won and the Oaks and stuff like that. So exotic dance, I know you won a race on exotic dance in Jamaica. That was the Oaks or something like that.
Yes, I won the Oaks, on her and on with a horse named Fairy Queen and another horse named Titania, who she won the Oaks and the Derby for Michael Silvera.
Okay.
And the Derby, I won 4 derbies.
4 derbies. And
if I'm not mistaken, yes, 4.
And out of those 4 derbies, which was the special one that still comes to mind?
Oh yeah,
I know you got a story for one of them.
Yeah, a story. Rika, one that was trained by Ren Gonzalez. Rika, who was a closer, right? And what happened in this race when the gates opened? You guys know, and I know that if you're a rider with some kind of clock in your head, you can read pace, and you can also read the horse that is under you.
Yes.
I rode Rika a couple of times, and I know what he's about. He's a closer. He has no speed, but for some reason, when the gates opened, everybody started to save their horse, and I put my horse on the lead. And boy, when I tell you, they were cussing. I could hear them cussing from the first time I passed the winning post. Like, what the hell is this Chinaman doing? I think someone would have shot me if I had lost. Because this horse comes from downtown. You know what I mean? Downtown, from way closer from downtown, and he's in the front. So anyway, by the time the other guys realized what was happening, that I was going to gallop them to death. When they started to chase me at the 8th pole, I was like just keeping one pace in front of them, and they had no chance to get in me. My horse had a lot of stamina. Okay. So anyway, it was like a shock about the riding I did, because I guess they have never seen a Jamaica Derby winner on the lead. Well, from my experience, I haven't heard of another horse
going wire to wire,
doing a wire job. Before then, maybe today, yes.
Yeah.
But not back then. So anyway, that was the story of that one. And the rest were all like Titania. She was like just an outstanding filly. And I had a horse I rode was Kingpin. I could be mistaken. It's a 3. Maybe I'm getting old, so I forgot one. I don't know if there's another one. But I rode another horse named Kingpin that also won. That wasn't the favorite in the race, but I had the choice between the 2 best horses in the race. And I said, well, I'm going with this one. And people are saying, how can you do that? The other horse is like 2 classes better, but this horse had the stamina. The Jamaican Derby is a 1.5 miles anyway. not like England, mile and a half. We're in North America, it's a mile and a quarter.
Yeah.
I think our Queen speed is a mile and a quarter too, right?
Yes. Yes.
Sean?
Pardon
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Queen's
Yes.
yes, the mile and a
Our
quarter.
Queen speed is a
Yes.
mile
Yes.
and a
Yes.
quarter, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes,
our
it is.
Jamaican Derby is a mile and a half. So
Yes.
it takes a stamina for horses to get a mile and a half as a 3-year-old.
That's right.
So okay, so all right, so that was my Derby experience there, and what is the Oaks? Yes, I went a few times, and number of other races that I can't remember now. I'm too old to remember back so far. You have to jog my memory. Ask me something that I have forgotten.
No, but what I want to ask you, because you said something when you started about timing and having a clock in your head and that kind of stuff. Now, I speak to Patrick husbands a lot. And Patrick always tell me things like, Sean, let horses roll. Like I watch their ears and see how comfortable they
Correct.
look, and
Correct.
you know, all those kind of things that
Yeah.
you don't really hear other jockeys talk about. Is this something where you big guys, you big jockeys,
No,
is it something that you're born with, that you know these things that other guys don't know?
no, well, it's a trade secret. Patrick is still riding. He's not gonna give away his trade secret. But he's right about watching a horse's ears. They'll do this when they're in front and they're
Yes.
relaxed. They
Yes.
do that this with their ears, put it forward,
Yes,
and
correct.
you can actually, when you're on the horse, you can actually feel him take a deep breath and relax under you.
Yes.
He just goes soft, spit the
Mhm.
bit out and drop the bit and go soft, which is the best thing can happen when you're riding a horse, when you're running relaxed. The first half of a race, which is the most, for me, it is the most important thing a rider can do, is the first half of a race,
Mhm.
because that's where you save and you position yourself, you save your horse's energy, and you
Mhm.
set yourself up for the finish. And that is so important. But American racing and racing on dirt, especially,
Right.
it creates speed.
Yes.
Pace is the name of the game on
That's
dirt
right.
when you're running on dirt, because a lot of riders will do, and I don't blame them, is to try to avoid the kickback. We call it kickback when the horse is in front, kick back the dirt and the horse's faces in behind, because it's uncomfortable for horses getting dirt. I mean, it's like a sandblaster you got, because we're going forward at 35 miles an hour and the sand is coming back at like 30 miles an hour. So it's hitting us at a good velocity. It's coming back and stinging like we're getting shot by a sand blaster.
Yes.
So you can't blame a racehorse that when he's facing that,
Yes.
his head will kind of start to climb in high action. They
Yes.
don't breathe properly. So dirt racing kind of create that kind of pace in a race. Like, every race you go 22 and change,
Yes.
and then you kind of have 2, 3, 4 horses abreast, and they just kill each other, and then a horse comes from behind.
Yes.
Now it's the horse from behind. Now the jockey's job to give his horse a spot behind that he can avoid as much kickback as possible. And that is where the tradesmanship, the horsemanship, the jockeymanship comes in. You have to place your and we have to know our horses as well, what we're on. We read the race form, yes, and we know the horses because we usually ride horses more than once. So we know what kind of pace our horses have, and we study the form and know who is the target in the race. Sometimes if we are the target, then you want to give your horse the best spot in a race. If not in front, it's like stalking second, third, fourth on the outside and trying to avoid that kickback. If you're in a closer, you don't want to be 3 or 4 lengths behind the leaders because that's where the kickback is blinding. You want to step back even a little further. So I'm giving away my trade secret here now, but right?
There's a lot of youngsters out there. There's a lot of youngsters out there listening, George. So we
I'm
and
done
one
riding,
of the
so,
things of this show is that Sean created this show for a lot of the youngsters, trying to create something for them to hopefully to get a chance to get to North America. So what you're sharing with us, I mean, hopefully you got a lot of ears out there just prick like those horses are and listening.
No, on the opposite
Listening
side,
and learning.
on the opposite side, on turf, riding on turf, you want to be behind horses. That's when turf horses tend to run a little bit freer because the grass is so much more comfortable for them to run on, and there's no kickback.
Right.
So they'll tend to want to run freer, more too fast in the beginning than you would want, really. So a good rider would know how to relax his horse. When they say cover up a horse, they mean put him in right in behind another horse and just follow that horse, and hopefully you can get your mount to relax, drop the bit, and just relax for the first half of the race before asking them to do any running. Because that is the key, is to get a turf horse to relax in the first part of a race, and they get their breathing going and a nice rhythm going. So that's
good advice.
Yes, that is solid advice for turf riding. And the European riders does that so well.
Yes. No, I remember a few years, but when I was training in Canada, and I remember Robert Sankson sent me a horse by the name of Musical Treat. And Patrick used to ride her all the time, right? Patrick used to ride her, and he used to keep her close to the pace. And Emil Ramsamy, he went to California, and he came back. And when he came back, Patrick was the man. Patrick was, everybody was talking about Patrick. So he came to me one morning, he said, Sean Hall, I can't get a ride nowhere because everywhere I go is Patrick. He said, I see him riding this horse for you, and he's putting this horse on the pace all the time. And this horse needs to run how they do it in England. Sit like in the mid pack and produce her. And everything he told me, I said, well, Mr. Ramsamy, I have the authority that I could take down Mr. Husbands without any quarrel, and I'll put you up, sir, and let me see what you could do. When I put him up on this horse, everything he said, he put her in behind horses, and within the last half of long, he just split horses, boom, and win.
Over daylight.
Yeah, just split horses and just did it.
Yeah.
So the same thing you're saying.
Perfect example, yes.
Yeah, I thought it was a fluke. It was so nice. He did it twice.
So did it twice.
Yeah, you did it twice. I mean,
yeah.
So what you're saying is very true, man. Those turf horses like to.
Yeah, exactly the opposite of what dirt horses are.
Yes.
Okay, George. So I want to jump back a little bit to Jamaica before we get, because we got to come into Toronto area soon. So in the 70s, things got a little, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of that with us, because I know things got a little tough and you had to make your way to North America. If you want to touch on that a little bit and give us a little thing and lead us into coming to the big boys up here.
Yes.
No, but before you go, also, because why you also want to know also that would carry both of them together. Now, you were a minority in Jamaica itself as being Chinese.
Yes.
Yes.
You came to Canada and you were
Scott.
Another minority.
Yeah.
Double. That's why you interest me so much, man, because you are a minority all over and you managed to do what you did.
And still rise to the occasion. He rose to the occasion
I mean, come on
with
now.
a lot on his shoulder, with a lot of weight on his shoulder.
Tell me how can you be a minority in Jamaica? I mean, I've been to Jamaica. Jamaica is one of the most intimidating places I've ever been to ride. You know what I mean? It's crazy down there. Tell me.
Sean, I've never been to China. My grandparents are from. I've never been to the mainland. Yes, so getting back to the 70s, early 70s.
Yeah, the 70s.
Yes. somehow the the country's mood just changed to a violent mood. We had a change of government, and the masses were chanting "a few time now," which in Jamaica means it's our time now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, what they meant, I couldn't understand. I mean, what they mean, it's our time now.
Mm.
It's always been their time. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
because of the change in government, I guess it was Michael Manley at the time that just won, and I guess he promised them, you know, the world, the
Mm.
masses.
Every
So
politician, every
yeah,
politician. The same.
exactly. The promises. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, violence erupted, and uh, to me, I'll tell you how it affected me personally. But what scared me was the people that I was writing for. My business was dissipating right in front of me. Laurie Silvera was my main man, Michael Silvera.
Mhm.
They just left and didn't even tell me a word that they were
Wow.
leaving.
Wow.
Aaron Lim, Michael Lim,
Yes.
they were my, they were my first call guys when
Right.
in a race. And when people were leaving Jamaica in those days,
Yes.
it has to be a secret,
Oh.
because if you were traveling, you would be allowed $50. I swear to God,
Uh-huh.
Wow.
$50 you were allowed to leave the country with on
Wow.
any trip.
That's nothing.
So if if people get wind of you having US dollars because you're gonna travel,
Mhm.
you're a target to be robbed,
Wow.
right?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I got scared when I saw all my businesses were dwindling, and one morning I was kidnapped by a bunch of gangsters, and
Wow.
Ooh.
they had me at gunpoint. First time in my life, I looked down a gun barrel.
Wow.
Didn't like it so much that I wet my pants, and
Wow.
they they shoved me in my car, and they jumped in the back seat, and they said drive, and they told me to drive around. Someone came on a spark bushes to their leader, who wanted to set some races,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of just used my calm on my head, and I says, okay, all right, I am agreed with you. I'll go do what you asked me to do. I'll meet you back. This was a Friday morning, and we had races on a Saturday. And I told him I'll meet you back here, and I'll let you know which races I'm gonna set. But I can't walk around with you with this gun in my back. You have to set me free. And they said, okay, good. Tomorrow morning. So I just jumped in my car, went straight to my house, packed my bags, and grabbed my girlfriend, who is my wife at this right now, Shelly, her name
Mhm.
is. And I was off on an Air Jamaica plane, and I didn't go to I didn't go to Canada at that point. I went to Florida, where I had most of my family, just
Mhm.
to just to take it in and cool my
Yes.
head,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
this was like very distraught to me.
Yes.
Anyway, after 3 weeks, I went back to Jamaica to get the rest of my stuff, to pack the rest of my stuff and leave.
Yes.
And the authorities, police, and so forth, and the affluent people got wind of me coming back to Jamaica, and they encouraged me to stay.
Uh-huh.
And one of these owners, they took me to the police commissioner,
Right.
who was a heavyweight guy in the police force. So when I went there, they introduced me to it. Commissioner Stevens, I think his last name was. He says, George, we can't let these thugs run people like
Yeah.
you out of this country, chase you
Yeah.
out of this country.
Yes.
So we're gonna. He handed me a handgun, and he says, "Look, if this ever happens to you again, defend yourself.
Uh-huh.
No questions asked. Just defend yourself." Well, I was like not 19 or 20 years old and never held a gun in my hand before. I was shaking, and I told the commissioner, I said, it don't feel right to me because I'm shaking right now, and I don't know what it would feel like to shoot a man,
Mm-hmm.
even in my defense.
Yes.
And I'd probably get scared, and they'll take the gun away from me and harm me instead, or I'd probably shoot myself in the foot. Uh, so he says, well, it's a six shot. It's got 6 bullets, so just use it and defend yourself. I said, well, what if there's 7 guys out there? What happened to me with the last guy? So anyway, a long story short, he said, okay, he's gonna give me police protection.
Mm-hmm.
And I was riding around for a few weeks with 2 big cops in the back of my car, and they were staying on my veranda, on my porch
Mm-hmm.
at nights, and they will switch shifts to other new guys, and it was I felt a bit more secured, but
Mm-hmm.
after a couple of weeks of that, it was too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be riding around with 2 big 5. They probably weighed 500 pounds. The shots in the back of my car was shot by then. Flattened out my shocks in the back of my car. And so, all right, it's after then that I told my wife that she was still my girlfriend then, that it's time, because although I was picking up mounts still
Mhm.
and still
Yes.
winning a lot of races, I saw where the violence was
Oi.
getting worse, and
Yes.
my friends who are not racehorse people, just my regular friends from school and so forth, they were just missing. At the end of every week, we will ask, "Where's such and such?" And they're gone. They're gone
Yeah.
to America, Canada, or England,
Yes.
but nobody knows who was leaving because of that thing where the money, because everybody was mostly selling. All the people that left, they were selling their homes, their belongings, change it out for US dollars, and leave the country. And they were scared, because if anybody knew they were leaving, that means they have US
Money.
dollars
Yes.
in them.
Yes.
They
Yes.
can report them, rob them, and you can't complain to the police that you were robbed of US dollars, because that's a crime as it is to have
Yes.
more than 50 US dollars.
Wow.
So that was the scenario, and I said, well, I myself, I stole my own money out of the country. At the time, $600 I could get
Uh-huh.
out of the country, 600 US dollars.
Wow.
And we went to Canada because Laura Silvera was there, and most of my business was there in Canada.
Yes. Yes.
So when I landed in Canada, it's Laura Silvera and the Lims, Crosby and Mike Lim,
Mhm.
Laura Silvera and Mike Silvera. They really helped me out. Laura Silvera was the man that applied for a work permit for me
Right.
and got me started. And Mike Lim was the one that put me up in he had an apartment for a few days, and then I went to. They were racing at Fort Erie at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, Errol Lim put me up in his home for the end of the season. I went to there in August of 1976.
Right.
So I started at Fort Erie. Was successful from the first mount I rode. for Michael Silvera. She won 50-some to 1 like that.
Wow.
Longest shot on the board. That was a Wednesday, and I didn't get another ride until the Friday and the Saturday. I had 3 mounts each day, and all 6 of them won. I took 3 winners 2 days in a row.
And that was with Mr. Severa.
Yeah, Mr. Silvera.
And that's just like when you start. Just like when you started. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of Mr. Silvera's friends gave me some mounts too.
So that's just like when you started in Jamaica. He put you on the right horse with the right time.
Yes, boy, I tell you, that man did me great. I can't forget him.
So who when you came up, did you get an agent right away, or you started off just right in for those guys without an agent first?
No agent at the time.
No agent at the time.
So then I was just word of mouth, and Laurie and Errol Lim knew a lot of people, so he got me quite a bit of mounts then. And actually, Errol Lim was the one that got me an agent. His name was Simon Shears. Simon Shears, if you're still alive when you're out there, man, thanks for the beginning. He was an ex-boxer, big guy. So I said, yes, I'll sign you, and if they don't give me a mount, you just give them a punch him out. Big, strong guy. So that was my experience leaving Jamaica.
Yes.
Okay. So when you
go ahead, I found out because a lot of Jamaicans came to Barbados also. Nigel Nunes, Beanie Reynolds, Tony Wright. You know what I mean? We got guys like Sprinter. I don't know if you know Sprinter, Eric Walker.
Trainers, right?
Those are trainers.
Nigel Nunes was a trainer.
Nigel Nunes, yes. His son is training in Barbados still, Andrew Nunes. He has a brother, Bubba Nunes, that trains in Jamaica
Bubba
still.
Is his son, yes. I know of them.
Those guys came to thing. We had grooms like Eric Walker. He used to ride too. I don't know if you know him. Sprinter. Palmer's another guy. He said he rode with you, he told me.
Palmer, which Palmer we're talking about?
No, Palmer, that's all they call him, Palmer. I know him as Palmer.
No.
But he's a pretty tall guy. And he said he rode with you back in the day. He came to Barbados, and he's based in Barbados now.
Yes. So that was my travel from Jamaica to Woodbine.
Within 2 years, you come into Woodbine. Didn't you dominate this place so much in 2 years? You were on the top. How did you do that like that?
Boy, I tell you, I was God blessed. Believe me. You talk about right place at the right time. The first snowstorm that hit that first year, I was thinking of, this is the wrong place. The first time a snowstorm hit while I was riding, and it's the first time I ever cried and no one was beating on me. My eyes were draining. I was crying because it was so cold. I never felt this before, and no one prepares you for this.
No,
riding on a horseback, going 35 miles an hour in a headwind.
That wind chill.
-degree wind chill. Oh man! But anyway, I was doing so good, and I was making good money, and I didn't think at that time to go back to Jamaica because, well, of the crime that was taking place.
Okay.
But I did go back to Jamaica after like 12 years in Canada, and I, already made some decent money.
Yes.
And my health was going down the drain too.
What year?
This was in the late 80s. I was struggling with weight, and you ask any rider out there that struggles with weight, the demand it put on your system, your body.
Well, let's not let's not kill your awesome story that you still have to come with that weight issue yet, because you dominate so much in 2 years, and the agent that you had, you still had that agent with those 2 years that you did that with, or you changed your
No,
agent?
I had switched agent to Gomez.
Okay,
You know
so
Avelino Gomez, the great Avelino Gomez.
well, let's
His
introduce. I want
brother.
to introduce you to somebody. I want to introduce you to somebody since you made that switch. So, Brent, could you introduce us to the person that we here?
Hold on, man. I have to it's him. Yeah. Darren.
How you doing, buddy?
Look at this, Darren, man.
That's why
Man, it's good to see you.
So happy to see you, man. Now, this guy, man, is like, he's family. It's actually his family. Because Avelino and his dad, Mickey, they were like my family. We came sort of close from part of the world. I'm from Jamaica. They were from Cuba. We were like only 90 miles away. So we're from, the same position in the Caribbean.
Yes.
And
so George, Darren has been listening all along.
In 1 second, just one quick second. When I landed in Toronto, the only jock that really friended me was Avelino.
Oh,
Avelino Gomez. He was like a big brother to me.
Wow.
And he showed me the ropes and the people that I should try to ride for.
Mm-hmm.
And when I switched agent at one time, and I had an agent who wasn't really fair to me, because his brother was a rider too. I won't call his name, but they were cheating.
You know who that is, Darren?
I do.
Yeah, I won't call him name. And Avelino saw this, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna get my brother to leave Kentucky and come here and take your book," which was Mickey Gomez, the father of Darren right there.
Wow. That's a great story, man.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Darren has a lot of stories to tell, and we're gonna do a lot of listening from you two guys, sharing a lot of stuff with us. But there's some races, Brent, you have to show us so we can just get our audience, familiar with a few things first before we get into both of these guys' stories.
Can I say something about races that we should show?
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't have it, but there were times when Angel Cordero used to come over and visit, pay us a visit and ride big horses.
Yes.
And this one instant, they took me off of my horse, which are the favorites of this race, which was a horse named Pro Council, right? And I was mad because he was like the best Pro Council, right? So they kicked me off and put Angel Cordero, and here I am. I'm riding a horse of Donnie Campbell, the man who I won 2 of the Triple Crown races of the Breeders' Cup and the Prince of Wales with two claiming horses.
Uh-huh.
He put me on a horse named Institutional, and here is like God made this happen. Coming 6.5 furlongs on the Marshall Turf course, we jumped over the dirt, and there he was, Angel, in front of me, and I had the target in front of me. My horse didn't reckon to win the race, because she was a filly running against Colts at the time. And I put my everything into it, and I said, God help me come down the stretch. I want to collar this guy, because he came in and he stole my mount. And I nailed him on the wire, and that is like so satisfying for me, But I understand it's business.
Yes.
Because I used to go back to Jamaica and I would kick guys off of their mounts too.
Yes.
So it's a two-way street, and I understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It happens in racing.
So it's safe to say, Darren, that was one of the races that the Jamaicans had won by rocking.
Yes.
Oh, I tell you, I grew up there, Sean. And he come back to ride Camden Cameron for Trevor Swan.
Yes.
Because Penna was his regular rider, and he thought the grass at Sampson's was greener.
Yes.
And my dad and Trevor orchestrated this move to put him on Candid Cameron. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Candid Cameron's, but he was a good horse. And I'm telling you, he put this horse on the lead, put the whole race to sleep, and that whole grandstand went mental. And you could feel that thing. And I mean, it's a big grandstand. You could feel it shake when this guy hit the wire.
That was the Jamaicans there. You know, the Jamaicans used to beat the wall. And
Don't we have that race, Brett?
Yeah, show that race, Brett.
Which one is that? Is that
That
the
is Candid Cameron.
1977?
No, 1993.
The 1993 race. Here it is.
Yes. Yes.
They're off in the Dominion Day Stakes. Benbur broke well. Toward the inside, Candid Cameron's going to take the early lead. Candid Cameron has the early lead. Blitzer right on his heels in second. Benbur on the outside. Attard has a snug hold of him. Another gray just to his inside. That's Cosine's Prince as they move in front of us for the first time. Hosang has a Candid Cameron under restraint as they run into the clubhouse turn. Cosine's Prince comes on second now. Benbur is third. Blitzer saves ground into the first turn. Most Valued is fourth. The weighted guy a little closer than usual as they run to the three-quarter pole, and in behind that one is Powerful Punch, and Candid Cameron is unopposed. First quarter in 24-2 and half a mile and 48 1/5. They're moving along the backstretch now. Candid Cameron a length and a half. Cosine's Prince is second. Just to his outside is Benbur. Blitzer is within 3 lengths of the lead and currently fourth. Then there's a gap of 6. Most Valued is fifth. Powerful Punch is sixth. An Elated Guy is seventh. 3 quarters in 1:13-2. Candid Cameron. Hosang will try to take this one wire to wire. Blitzer has an opening inside of Cosine's Prince, and Landry sends him on through. Benbur is now third. Cosine's Prince is back to fourth. Powerful Punch is fifth. Most Valiant, Elated Guy. They come to the quarter pole. Candid Cameron off the rail in front by 2.5. Blitzer runs at him from the inside. Cosine's Prince, Benbur on the outside. Elated Guy with that big run of his is kicking in late, but Candid Cameron, Hosang pulling out all the stops to get him home. They come to the 16th pole in front by 5, and he will not be caught. Candid Cameron wins the Dominion Day, finishing second with a late run. Powerful Punch, and Blitzer was third.
Hey, did you see how much times I look back?
Yeah, I remember that race like it was yesterday.
Hey, Darren, tell them about when we had the Jockey Challenge. 5 riders from Woodbine and 5 from California with our Willie Shoemaker and all them guys came over.
Oh yeah,
3
absolutely.
races. Yeah.
They didn't get it. They didn't get anything.
3
Nothing.
races, and I was his. So that's his 5 riders from each team, and if there's more than 10 horses in the race, then also eligibles would be ridden by whoever, which whoever was me because I wasn't on the team.
Okay.
After winning the leading rider, they didn't pick me on the team.
Wow.
And I rode 2 of the extras, not in the competition. I was excluded from the competition wherever I ran. And I won 2 of the races. Then you should have heard the Jamaicans.
I tell you, you guys have all been there. That grandstand was vibrating.
But hold on 1 minute. I want to go back to what you just said there just now.
Yes.
You were the leading rider, but you weren't put on the team. Why was that?
Yes. I don't know. I think what you were saying in the first part, I was a minor.
Okay.
Maybe that has something to do with it.
Minority, man.
I was not on the team.
Wow.
And, you know.
But yet you came and won 2 of their races.
Won 2 of the races. And it was like, hey, must have been God ain't sleeping, right?
You got that right.
So Darren, you got some great stories to share, man. Come on.
I tell you, I got a couple of really good favorites.
We kind of jumped the gun with our races. We gone ahead with our races because we got races from the 77 and what other races, right?
1980.
We got 1980 and
okay. So let's
get back to them.
Let's get back a little bit to those races first, and then let Darren kind of fill this in a little bit because Darren have a lot more familiarity with him than us. So if you want to show some more of those.
One of the races is the 1977 Vigil Stakes. Do you remember who that horse was, George?
The Vigil. Is that before I was born?
1977. I was 3 years old. For King Haven Farm. Remember King
I can't remember who.
Trained by John Tamara Jr.
Kovarack.
That's it.
It's the only horse I can remember.
Yeah.
He fired me right. Yeah, he fired me right after.
I hear that story.
Yeah, I did.
They're at the post. They're off. Blacksmith in the center with Northern Affair coming away quickly on the inside. Norcliffe closing up third in the center. Coverack and now Brilliant Sandy shooting through on the rail to challenge for the lead. That's Brilliant Sandy coming on. Heading around the clubhouse turn, Brilliant Sandy now on top. Northern Affair is second, Blacksmith third, Norcliffe is fourth, Coverack is fifth, and Tuxedo Max sixth along the rail. Midway of the turn, Northern Affair coming on to take the lead. Brilliant Sandy saving ground on the inside. And as they move into the back stretch, Brilliant Sandy on the rail, Northern Affair right alongside. And Norcliffe now challenging for the lead on the outside. Blacksmith is fourth between horses. Coverack is fifth. And Tuxedo Mac. Coming up to the half, Brilliant Sandy leads by a neck. Northern Affair is in the center and Norcliffe is on the outside. And swinging around the far turn, that's Brilliant Sandy by a head. Norcliffe second, Northern Affair third. Blacksmith is fourth, Coverack is fifth, and Tuxedo Mac. Midway of the far turn, that's Norcliffe now gaining the lead by 2 lengths. Brilliant Sandy is second, Northern Affair third, and Tuxedo Mac coming up on the outside with Coverack. Up to the head of the stretch, Norcliffe showing the way by 3 lengths. Turning into the stretch, Norcliffe on top, Brilliant Sandy is second, Northern Affair, Tuxedo Mac on the extreme outside, and Coverack now moving up in the center. Norcliffe on top with Coverack now closing up second, Tuxedo Mac is third. That's Norcliffe leading and Coverack coming very fast on the outside. Coverack and Norcliffe together.
Hey, wasn't that Avelino on the horse that finished second? Wasn't that
Norcliffe?
Norcliffe. Wasn't that Avelino riding it?
I to be honest, George, I don't know. I know he didn't ride him in the plate. Jeff Feld did. He rode Military Bearing.
Well, I know Papa. I used to call him Papa. I know him from anywhere. That was him.
That could have been him on him.
But anyway,
I know he didn't ride him in the
that
plate.
was him. Sorry, Papa.
Beat him by a nose.
My brother like that.
Nose job. It was a
Yeah,
close
that was
call.
a close. Yeah, it was really close. Yeah.
Yes. No man.
See
Great.
what happens when you beat the master? You don't get to ride the horseback. You don't even get the client.
So what happened there? How did you get fired? Tell us.
Well, John Tamaro was the trainer then, and his guy was really Donnie Macbeth. You know Don Macbeth? He was really a good
No, I think it was Donnie Seymour.
for John Tamaro. Is that not
No, now you
Donnie
got me
Macbeth?
thinking. No, you're right.
Is Donnie
Seymour come with
Macbeth
Atfield.
with that
Yeah,
feel? Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
See, you're the one that's getting old, man.
Gotcha, Darren.
Yeah.
So, what else did we miss out?
How do you got fired?
How you got fired? How you
Yeah.
got fired?
Yeah. That's how I got fired because he wanted Donnie Macbeth to come in and ride these horses.
Oh.
So he just and who did a great job was Errol Lim. Got me into that barn, speaking to the manager then. What was it? I forgot his name, but Errol Lim was very friendly with that guy, and he talked me into that barn.
Okay.
So how we got fired, I don't know if Errol must have cost him off because the horse didn't win the way he wanted me to ride the horse.
Uh-huh.
It was like he was such a guy, John Tamari. You have to ride to his instructions
Oh.
to the T, and if you lose, then it is not your fault, the rider. But I couldn't sit still for things like that when I know better. In a race, sometimes opportunity happens.
Yes.
Like you get a run on the rail, or somebody goes wide, a horse gets shut off, and you get around that horse, and you
Yes.
get a break and take first run. And sometimes it happens that it works out for the best,
Mhm.
but and then you risk taking the blame if you get beat, but then you look like a genius if it works out for you. But I was a I used to get blamed a lot because I take things in my own hand.
Yes.
Because when the gate opens, man, sometimes all hell break loose.
That's
Yes.
what great riders supposed to do, though, right?
Yes.
Take
The
things in
race
your own
doesn't-
hands.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I
What
mean,
what did
races
what did Lester
often-
Piggott say?
Lester Piggott was a man that didn't speak much at all.
Uh-huh.
He barely said a few words to me when I visit him at his home.
Wow.
Was a very quiet guy, and I can see why. He used to diet so bad.
Yes.
He was a tall. Used to call him Longfellow because he was close to like 6 foot tall.
But
He
I was
almost a
just
6-footer.
mentioning under the terms of what he said about giving a good a jockey instructions. What was that say that he would say? It was a big.
Yes.
You guys remember that? What he said, that you don't give a good jockey instructions, or a bad jockey can't carry them out, or something like that.
Exactly. He is right. I mean, if you have to put a good rider on your horse, and say, for instance, the rider knows the horse, has ridden the horses multiple times,
Yes.
then why are you
Giving instructions.
giving instructions?
Yeah.
Sometimes, from the trainer's standpoint of view, a horse probably not running as good as they want him to run, and they're trying different tactics, or they train the horse different, change their feed, change something, and they just want to see if they can get the horse to run better.
Mhm.
Now I see that point, but that's not my point of view. If the race doesn't unfold the way they instructed me, and I get an opportunity in a race that's given to me easily, like an inside run, and I have a ton of horse under me, I will usually take that advantage, and if I come out a loser, I blow the race, I'll take the blame.
Mhm.
You know,
So for instance, when you rode Candy Camera there, you were on the lead, but you push out about what, 3 wide? What was the purpose of
yes,
doing that in that race?
he was the type of horse that likes to be a little off the rail.
Okay.
Plus, they used to call me Overland Hosang. They said I took the overland route, which I'm always on the outside.
Listen, guys, I got this saying. A friend of mine sent me what Lester Piggott said. A good
Okay.
jockey doesn't need orders, and a bad jockey couldn't carry them out.
That's
Anyway,
it.
so
That's
it's best not to give any.
Good shot.
There you go. That's what I wanted to do.
But you know, you've heard Bob Buffett and those guys, Todd Pletcher, when they interviewed them and asked them, you know, what they tell the rider to do, and they said they don't. When they put riders like, you know, John Velasquez and Big Money Mike, they call him
Yes,
Mike
yes.
Smith,
Yes.
and they've ridden the horse already. What kind of instruction you give those guys? You don't. You don't. And isn't that why we're getting paid?
The big bucks, of course.
To read that race form,
Yeah, yeah.
and not only the horses that we are riding, we know the opposition, what their style of running is. Which horse has the target on their backs could be the same horse that we're riding that is the target. That the favorite in a race is usually the target.
Yes.
But
So-
George, the question I'm going to ask you now, because you never got involved in training horses, right?
No,
But
secretly, no. But I tell you anyway now that it's over, right?
Sure,
No,
don't let
that
the man
my
secrets
career
out
is
now.
and they can't suspend me. Back in Jamaica, right?
Yes.
A good friend of mine, he was pretty wealthy guy. He owned a lot of trucks,
Yes.
and he had a string of horses. His family member used to train for him. I can call his name because he's probably on his way out
Passed
to
away.
Jockey. Henry Jockey was his name, train the
Yes.
horses. So the owner came to me. I won't call his name so not to get him into trouble. He said, George, I would like you to train the horses for me, and his family member, the trainer Jockey, will oversee the horses, but I will do the training. So I said, okay, you know, it's a new venture, and I'm not going there to do any of the hard lifting. I'm just gonna program the horses.
Yes.
So he had this one horse that was walking out of the start gate every time it ran. It was walk out of the gate and get left by half a furlong. So when I took a look at the barn, I took a look at the horse, and she was so light in her frame. There was hardly any meat on her body.
Yes.
That this was the first horse I'm going to run for it. So for 2 weeks, I just let her jog around the track and gain some condition on her.
Well, that's great.
Put some meat on her body. In the race, I can't ride her because she has 90 pounds. Can you imagine back in the days? Horses, the bottom weight was 84 pounds. You could actually get a kid to ride at 84 pounds. And
But
the top
George-
weight was 140.
George, like myself and Brett, we rode at 84 pounds when we started, man.
My first winner was 89 pounds, and I carried a big saddle with a weight bag to catch the weight because I
You
weighed
were-
75 pounds.
Yeah.
Brett, you did that?
Yeah.
I was 15 years old.
What the hell happened after that, man? You discovered the kitchen, right?
Absolutely.
On my
Yes.
second ride, I rode at 84 pounds too. So and then I grew into my father's frame, man. You know?
So, all right, let me just finish my story.
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
The race comes up for the horse. He's got 90 pounds.
Yes.
And I said, we had a class system then. the handicapping class system back then. So she was one bad race away from dropping to the lower class,
Yes.
and I was riding the top weight horse, the best horse in the race.
Mhm.
So I said, "Okay, my friend, I'm gonna win the race. Your horse is gonna run down the track as usual, walk out of the start gate, and they'll drop in class." Here we go, the race day. I'm break out of the gate, and I look over, and she broke smart today. First time in her life she broke good after jogging for 2 weeks and just run. So anyway, coming the stretch, I'm in front at the eighth pole, and I looked over and I saw this horse coming at me, run by me down the stretch and win the race. And the owner is betting on my horse that I rode, and his horse beat him. So, so I after the race, I went home. I gave him a phone call, and I said, "Look, that's it. That's my training. That's my training career. I'm done." And the guy was good. I continued riding for him. He had some good horses. Continued riding for him. He didn't take it as anything.
But all you did for that
hold it
horse, you
again.
helped that horse. You just took the pain away from just jogging her to get her feeling good again.
Yes,
then,
that's what
wow.
happened.
Yeah,
Just
that's what
freshened
happened.
her up. She didn't need any work,
No,
or any
no.
galloping or anything. And
no.
that's what she came bouncing at the track. She was fresh and she felt nice, and she just sprang out of the gate and beat me. So there you go. That was my training career in a nutshell.
Well, that answered my question. That answered my question. Because I said you great guys always get it wrong when you have the chance.
Yeah.
Darren, you're
Yes.
sitting there quietly. Come on, give us some of those stories that you know about that you can tell us a little bit about. And have a
Oh,
little fun
I
with.
tell you, I got a couple that I just
Okay,
can't
well,
forget.
come on.
Was
Okay,
George
We're at the
A
A meet in Fort Erie, and George and my dad are splitting an apartment, and I come down to. Well, I started with Mike Silver and ended up with Laurie, and my dad had asked George about these two horses, and I forget the other one, but George said I kind of like this one better. So that night we go for a walk to the mall, and George gets a form, and I can see he's not saying nothing, but he ain't happy. You can see it. So we get back to the apartment, and he says to me, "Who do you like in this race?" Well, I know the story. I ain't jumping in the middle of that. No chance. I'm not jumping in the middle. And he says, no, there's no trouble. I said, "George, you got to hope it rains. This horse has no chance." He takes his form and he goes to bed. 5 o'clock, because they each got a room, and I got a cot in the living room.
Yeah.
And I'm underneath the window. 5 o'clock in the morning, he's shaking me. Get up, get up. I said, "What's the matter?" "I think the place is on fire or something." He pulls back the curtains, and he points, and he says, "Contra, because it's pouring rain." And she won by 10.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He just pointed and said, "Contra."
That's a good one. Hey,
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, guys. It was all like, happy times and a bed of roses there when I was there.
Yes.
Remember I was telling you about Errol Lim
Yes.
that took me in like a father?
Yes.
After I won my first championship there, leading rider, he got sick and cancer, and it was like terminal, and I watched him wither away.
Yes.
And when he passed away, I was shocked. I was in despair to see how he suffered before he died. And that kind of shook me up a bit, and I think it affected my riding a little bit. And no sooner I got back on my feet, who you think happened? Avelino Gomez died on right there on the track. A horse trampled him.
Yeah.
And there goes another big brother of mine, like a year after. He went to the hospital and he spent overnight, and because of, I don't know the reason why they didn't operate on him, didn't do surgery, he passed away. And that just sent me back in a tailspin again. And like two years in succession that I had this tragedy that shook me and sent me in a tailspin. So it was so sad, you know. It shook me to the bone, and it took me a while to recover. I mean, I cried like a baby, and his dad, Mickey. One day we just sat and cried like two babies, the way it shocked us. And then after I finished riding, I left Canada. Then I got a phone call that his dad passed away too. It was from kidney failure, right, Darren? He had
Yeah.
kidney failure.
See, what had happened is he got a transplant and he was doing good, but that SARS thing had just come out, and they ended up giving him some kind of vaccine that attacked the organ, and he had a better chance of winning the lottery than what happened, but he was unlucky.
So Darren is maybe the last standing of my family from Woodbine, from the Gomez family.
Wow, that's great, man. So we did a good thing, bring them on.
Oh yeah.
But wait,
Great to
Avelino
see
had a
him.
son. Where's Darren? Where is Avelino's son, the one that played hockey?
He lives in Georgetown. He's
Do you guys know
retired.
Darren?
Pardon?
Does these guys know Sean? You know about?
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He's retired. He lives in Georgetown. He's got a couple of dogs. He's with Barb Minchell, and they go to Florida every winter. They got a bunch of horses, and he paid his dues. He's having some fun.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's still in Florida right now. He doesn't like to come back until it's suntan and weather.
Well, I want to ask you though, George, how did it feel to win the Avelino Gomez Award, man? Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, man.
Wow,
Yes,
Tell
yes.
me, man.
That was a
Tell
thrill,
me the
man.
feeling.
Yeah. I tell you, I was thrilled to death.
Uh-huh.
And when I got to Woodbine, I cussed them why it took so long to get me this trophy. I should be the first guy to get this thing.
So did you get him some clots? All kinds of bumpers and clots?
I see you were hanging the Jamaicans.
Oh yeah. I worked my 3 years in Laurie Severe Barnes, and I used to hear that every day. Sean, we can shoot your bumper clots, you know. So I know it very well.
Yeah, you got it, Sean. Man.
But to be presented with that has to be,
Yeah, there's a high point in my life.
Yes.
And they
Well
treated me
deserved.
good. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the arrangements were made for my travel by Errol Lim's son, who is Steve Lim, who was the racing secretary at Woodbine.
Mm-hmm.
He arranged it. Him and Mike Lim, who was a clocker at Woodbine.
Jesus.
So it's a big family.
I think he hustling book now.
Mike Lim, yes.
Yeah.
He's got a Jamaican kid who they win a few. They're doing all right for a start.
You see this guy here on the screen right now? He's Keith Pollard. He always told me about you when he came to Canada the first time, man. Always talked about you. He's a Barbadian guy.
Keith, he worked for Uncle Buddy.
Oh, yes. Then I remember him. Keith.
Yeah, man.
Was a tall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good groom, real good horseman.
Keith, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Good horses, yeah.
Look who is here now. Jennifer Morrison.
Yes. Jennifer Morrison is a Sovereign Award writer. Okay? She's
Okay. I need my goggles on to see. Okay. Jennifer.
big, all right? She's a 3-time Sovereign Award writer. I just
Okay.
wrote a book, so she's great. And she's a friend of this show. We love her.
Okay, great.
Paul Marino.
Tom Marino, man. Tom
Hey.
Marino, say hi. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, I mentioned him last time. He's the one that put me and Slade together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Well, I don't know Tom, but I know he loves dogs.
George is pretty funny, eh?
Actually, George, you
I
would
got a
know
couple
his,
small
you
ones
would
like
know his dad. His dad Peter had horses with Sammy D. And Peter
Sammy
D.
D. Yeah. I would know him
Peter
then.
Di
His dad.
Pasquale, right?
Yeah.
Pasquale, yeah.
Yes.
Darren, could you find another one of those joke stories for us
Oh,
again? Come
yeah.
on, give us another one. Come on, you got to keep us going here, Darren.
We're in the parking lot outside the race office, and I'm just hanging on as a kid, and George and my dad are
How
talking.
old were you, Darren?
I'd have been about 13, 14, somewhere in there.
All right.
And George is talking to my dad, and he doesn't have his attention. And finally he says to him, "What's the matter?" He says, "I got a leak in this trunk and I can't figure out where it is." He says, "Well, you'll find it after." And he kept talking, and this leak was just bothering my dad. So George says to him, "You want to know where the leak is? I'll show you where the leak is. Open up the trunk." So my dad opens the trunk. George climbs in. He says, "Close the trunk." And he sees where the sunshine's coming through. And he tells him, "That's where your leak is. Now, can we finish our conversation?"
It's a normal thing in Jamaica. You get locked up in a trunk and see where the leak is coming from.
So that wasn't your first time in the back of a trunk.
No, but probably the first time willingly going in.
Yeah. I was always a legal guy, you see. So I'm the one that is locked up in the trunk.
But George, I gotta ask you this, man, because as a Jamaican, were you close to Bob Marley?
Okay, all right. Different.
I like this one.
I knew Bob Marley from the days before he was Bob Marley.
Yes, tell me more.
Wow.
My God.
He just started being a dread, growing his locks. And back in the days, we're talking about the 60s, people didn't accept dreadlocks yet.
Yes.
They started as something that was unclean.
Yes.
You don't groom your hair. Mm-hmm. So Bob, the Rastafarian wasn't as popular yet, and Bob was becoming a Rastafarian. Mm-hmm. But because he was very close to his right-hand man, Skill Cole, everybody knows Skill Cole was like his manager.
Okay.
I knew him because we were neighbors in the same neighborhood we came from. So racehorsing was like the sport every week on a Saturday. Yes. Everybody would like to cash a bit.
Of course.
So Skill Cole took Bob Marley to my home on a couple occasions. Skill Cole was looking for winners, tips, right? And I think Bob was very interested in horse racing too, and probably the gambling aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Because remember, he's not Bob Marley yet.
Yes.
He's the guy from the ghetto, struggling, coming out of the ghetto, and he's struggling too. Hasn't made any hits yet. Yes. Made some records, but hasn't had any big hits yet. It wasn't international yet. It didn't go international yet. So that's how I got to know him. Not for a good reason. That I would have liked to have known him as a musician and I as a racehorse rider. And just two guys.
Did you think he was special around those times? Do you think you felt that magic? Do you think he was heading into the star he turned out to be?
Bob, his music?
Yes.
No. The people then used to despise his music.
Wow.
Because the masses were listening to Rocksteady at the time, which that kind of music. And my parents, they were listening to like Sam Cooke and
Yes.
Fats Domino and guys like that.
Yes.
The-
Yes.
the big groups like the Shy Lights
Yes.
and guys like those. Those were the music that was around,
Mhm.
and I remember the grown-ups, like my parents' age group. They're saying like, "What's all this bing jang bangarang going on?" They didn't appreciate it. So anyway, we today, I can speak for my generation that today's music kind of sounds strange to me. The new beat and the new, like, the rap music that they speak so fast that I can't. My ears is not fast enough to listen to the lyrics that they're saying. So I guess to my to back in those days, to my parents, they were hearing that when Bob was starting with his sound, which was reggae, turning from rock steady to reggae. A lot of people didn't embrace it just right off the bat, but then it took a foothold. That the vibes was there, the sound of the weed, and it's a groove. It just make you want to smoke a split when you hear Bob's music, and you don't want to chill and cool out. So anyway, I'm glad for him. I'm I'm sorry I didn't have a picture with him from back then,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
knew him on just a couple occasions I met him. So, but he himself suffered some, violence.
Yes.
They shot him, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't die, but they came to his house and shot him for whatever
Yes.
reason. That story, I don't know if it's ever gonna be known to people. The real reason why they did it.
Wow.
Some were saying it was political, but
Yeah.
it must have gone deeper than that. For it,
Mhm.
they wanted to take his life.
Yes. And he was a superstar back then.
Superstar. Yes, back then he was big. Now
Yes.
he was the Bob Marley then.
Hmm.
But that was my stint. My little meeting with him.
Well, I asked everybody that question: who's of your age? You know what I mean? How close? Because I love Bob Marley, and it's
You don't love Bob Marley more than me. Sorry.
I don't know about that, man. Listen, I've been to India. I saw Bob Marley posters in India, Australia, everywhere in the world I went.
You've seen him? You've been in concerts?
No, I saw it. I mean, his posters, his music was
Oh, his
selling in those
posters.
places. Yeah. So I mean,
I know you are old, Sean, but not that old.
No. I'm just talking about how the influence he's had on the world. That's what I'm talking about, man. So
Okay.
and I know a lot of Canadians love him too. So George was hot back in those days. I figured the two of them have to cross paths.
So, but look here, in 80, 81, and 82, it's like some of the best years you had riding, right?
Yes.
Those were the most prestigious years that I see here on my chart calendar, because I'm a big stats guy, right? I mean, it shows in your career here in Canada, you had over 800 and something, 8,848 mounts, and you 1,395. And I mean, in those days, the money had to be pretty big, because it says $12,366,379.
Well,
the
is that
earnings.
what is it? Are you seeing good? 12 million?
Yeah.
I wonder where my money went. I wonder my wife has a secret account somewhere up there.
That was career earnings, though.
Horses earnings.
Well, it was good money then.
Yeah, it was
We're
good
talking
money
about
then.
the 80s.
Yeah.
What is that equivalent for today? That would be equivalent to
Wow.
what? Like
Wow.
with maybe 30 odd some million.
Maybe more. Maybe way more than
Yeah,
that.
the dollar
more,
ain't going
even
too
more.
far these days.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's
true.
got to be in the 80s, about 80 something million if it was in these days today.
Today, yeah.
Right. Come on, Darren. Pull one more story out of the hat there for me, Darren. You're sleeping on me. You're falling asleep on me there, Darren.
No. I'm actually listening because it's a pleasure to see him, man. It's been
Help me out
last
here,
time I
Darren.
saw him was when he come to get his award.
That's the last time you've seen him.
How many
Yeah.
years ago is that?
Yeah. Well, I
My
don't know when he ran,
attention
but it was
span
a lot.
My attention span is waning. So Darren, come on. Give
Yeah,
us
there you go, Darren. Come on.
Come
You
on,
just can't give
Darren.
us- you can't give us 2 stories and just leave us, Darren.
No, well, I mean, I don't know how to say it. He was a pleasure to be around. And it was pretty cool because the barn I worked in for Trevor, he rode a lot of horses, and he rode at the other end for Emil Elaine a lot. And I don't know how to say it. He's
You're
just
lost for words.
he's
You're lost
a
for
gentleman and one of the best people you'll ever meet.
Keep going. I like it.
And
I don't get it.
he's funny as hell too, Darren.
Oh well, you know what they
What?
say. My dad always used to say, the older you get, the less filter you have.
Yeah.
He's done more talking in this interview than probably 4 years back then.
Whoa.
We got him in a comfort zone, right? We got him in a
Well,
comfort zone, man.
no, but when you're doing business, you never want to give the other guy an edge. So you don't
Yes.
say anything.
That's
They can't
right.
say anything about you.
He stayed
Very
humble.
true, Darren. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you
you know-
never want to give the other guy an edge. Because I remember one time he's riding a really good horse for Samson. And he, like he said, he's riding everything for Lori. And we went downtown for dinner. And he said, you know, these 2 horses are going to hook. And he looked right at my dad and said, well, if somebody got to get mad at me, I'd rather it be Jimmy Day than Lori Silver. And that's the way. But funny how it works. Jimmy wanted to tell you what to do.
Yes.
So my dad telling him now, I can't ride for you. Oh man, it sent him to the moon. You're telling me no?
Yes,
He says, yeah. You're really gonna ride for that guy? He says, yeah. And I'm telling you, if he could have shot my dad, he would have. Because he could not believe you were turning him down. And don't forget though, we had fun with Lori, but back then Lori had some serious bullets.
Yeah.
He had some good horses. I mean, I remember one time he's got a horse named Right Son.
Yes.
I mean, he's fast.
Yeah.
But he's got zero scope. He can't go very far. But we opened back then at Greenwood going 4.5.
Yes. Yes.
And every week, Lori run him, and every week he win. And it comes to the 4th week, and my dad says to him, aren't you going to give this horse a break? And I'm telling you, he looked right at my dad and said, Tom, man, he going to get the whole summer off. And he run every week at Greenwood. 6 weeks in a row. I think he won 5 races.
Yes,
And he did. He kicked him out because back then he had his own farm. Kicked him out for the whole summer and brought him back for Greenwood in the fall because he couldn't get 5/8. And back then we didn't run 5/8.
Yeah.
Once you left Greenwood, it was the shortest was 3/4. Now we'll run 5/8, but that horse was done.
I heard
He couldn't get 3/4 in the back of a truck.
I think it was Mike Danslow and Mike Lim that told me about that horse this morning.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
He was speedy. He had zero scope. He couldn't get 5/8. But he owned Greenwood.
Yeah.
What
He
was
left the
Jamaican-
gate like a slingshot.
Yeah. What about Jamaican Gigolo? You rode him too?
Laurie was great at picking those horses. Jamaican Gigolo, and another one was Solar Guy.
Solar Guy, yes.
They used to leave the gate before it opened.
You could ask Mike Lim about him. One spring, Laurie phones my dad and says, "What's the kid doing?" He says, "He's sitting on the end of the couch." He says, "Well, bring him in tomorrow." And Laurie brought Jamaican Gigolo in a 2-horse trailer and worked him on the training track. And the only 2 guys that saw this horse work was Mike Lim and a blocker back then named Courtney.
February.
And he set him up, and this horse went, and he paid boxer. He paid $18 or $19 for a horse that shouldn't pay that much.
I could not forget that morning. This is February, and it was -5 degrees with a 100-mile wind. And we were out there like the only guys out there. The track is frozen hard because it is so cold.
Yes.
And we're out there working horses. And I tell you, from that winter, I didn't stay another winter to let Loris Silvera know I was there. I left every winter, and I wouldn't come back until the middle of March.
Oh yeah.
Well, we got a great
Brutal.
comment here that there was a photo that won a Sovereign Award for photography of George Hosang on George Dinkle, reading up in the winner's circle after the Canuck Cups. This was by Tom Marino.
Yeah, I think that should be rearing up because it
Yeah.
was a
Rearing
pretty
up.
famous picture. This horse was straight up in the air.
Yeah.
And Lori had him by the chin strap because he was pretty tall and his
Yes.
head kind of sideways, and George was hanging on.
Oh.
I'd like to see that picture. George Dinkle. I remember the horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, if you got the picture, send it, man. Send it. Don't just. It's great. Or anybody out there is sending it out.
Actually, I think Tom made a sketch of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, he when he sits down, he's pretty good.
Okay.
He does a pretty good job.
Great.
Our friend Jennifer Morrison would like to know what is George doing now to stay busy and looking so young.
Well, I do exercise. I run twice a week.
Uh-huh.
Whenever my feet aren't hurting me, because I must tell you, a few years back, I fell off my roof. Don't ask me what I was doing up there, please. Right?
Over there.
Fell off my roof and broke my both legs, my both feet, 5 places.
What?
Right.
Wow.
So I was in a wheelchair for like 6 months, and I did a lot of rehab. So whenever I can, I do run twice a week at a soccer field close by where I live,
Yes.
and I keep in pretty active. And I have 2 grandkids that keep me busy
Oh.
too. I mean, I can't believe grandkids would have so much energy. And what else I do?
One question, George. I heard a rumor the other day. Do you really play in a rock band?
Oh, that's a good question. Not a rock band. You should say a reggae band.
Okay.
Yes.
I did a few appearances, not by choice.
Uh-huh.
The people didn't want me by choice. I just ran up on the stage because my friend is a reggae star. His name is Pluto Shervington. He's a reggae star from back in Bob Marley days.
Yes.
And I work along with him. I do the heavy lifting for him with the equipment. I take that as my exercise. And today I can hook up a band all by myself.
Wow.
All wires, speakers, lights, everything.
So you're a technical man.
Drums. Yeah,
You're a technical man.
But sometimes I run up on the stage and on a slow night, and I'll be singing I don't even know if he's playing the right background to my song. I'll be just singing.
Okay, now we're going to put you on the spot here now, George, because you're talking about singing, so you got to give us a note here now.
Wow. Hold on here, man. Wait, hold on. Rocket Ray Sovereign sent a message out, man. The Rocket Ray saying, George was saying, great, honored to nominate. Wow. You remember Rocket Ray?
Okay, Raymond Saborin nominated me. Oh man, Ray is my good friend, man. Ray, where are you?
Ray's a cook now, you know. He's a cook now, George.
Chef. No, say cook. Chef.
Chef.
Sorry, George. Sorry,
Correct. Sorry for the correct.
I'm very sorry about that, Rocket Ray. Sorry, you're a chef.
Sorry, Ray. You're a chef. You're not a cook.
Great.
Yeah,
I'm glad for him. I'm glad he found some.
Well.
I'm glad he found some. Is that him?
No,
it's a young lady.
That's
Darren's my wife.
This is Darren's wife.
That's your wife, Darren?
Yeah. She's heard all them stories before.
I'm coming to Toronto.
Darren, watch
out. She is a beautiful girl.
Yeah. She'll never see a tag.
Glad to meet you.
But George, you know what you can do? You can sing her a note or two, George. So share that note. You can you reminisce her a little bit, George.
No. Hey, I swear, if I try to bust a note right now, this computer is gonna shut down.
Come on, Georgie.
I have no,
Sing
I
it.
have
Come
no,
on, Georgie.
I
Reminisce.
have no formal training as a singer, right? So I will just be karaoke for you and
So it's safe to
use
say
that.
you are just a bathroom singer then. You just sing with the bath.
You're a closet guy. You want to put behind the curtains,
No,
George?
no. Here what happened now?
Okay.
Here. This was my job at the gigs.
Okay.
When 12 o'clock at night comes and the
Uh-huh.
gig is over, and the people at the bar, the drunks, they don't want to leave.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Then they hand me the microphone, and before the first song, everybody is running out of the place like this.
So you ran the
and in no time, the joint is empty, and we can all go home.
Oh God! I saw that one coming, guys. I saw that one coming. Oh God!
But you know, what Darren was saying, I changed a lot, which is true.
Mhm.
I was 45 when I had a really serious accident at Hialeah racetrack.
Yes.
Horse flipped on me and kicked me in the head,
Yes.
knocked me
Yes.
out cold. I was unconscious. I woke up in the emergency uh, at Jackson Memorial Hospital here, trauma
Yes.
center that was. So when I regained consciousness and several surgeries to reconstruct my jaw under here was shattered, and uh, when I was recovering, my mind was so foggy. I could hardly remember anything in the past, and it took months for my memories to start, for me to recalling stuff.
Yes.
And truly, true story. 3, 4 o'clock in the mornings, I used to wake up with these songs in my head. That I guess my memory was kind of, you know, rebooting. So I used to hear these records when I was 4 or 5 years old, like a Fats Domino and those kind of guys, and they would pop in my head out of the clear blue sky. So anyway, that's this guy I'm telling you about, Pluto, the reggae star. Was a neighbor of mine. He lived in my neighborhood, and he told me to come and sit with him one at a neighborhood restaurant where they were playing on a Friday night. And I went there, and he was playing old songs that I used to remember, and it would just strike a chord with me, and like some of my memory, some of my brains just started to click.
Trigger again and trigger your burn a bit.
Trigger my memory.
Yeah.
And that's where how it all started. I ran up on the stage and started singing with him. And it is just then the people start laughing. They were having fun because I can't hold a note. It saved my life. So anyway, we became friends, and that's how Darren was asking me about. I'm a rock singer, not really rock. I'm a reggae guy, but not more like a roadie. They call us roadie.
Roadie,
We
that's
pack
right.
the trucks and build the stage and unpack and back home. So we were getting home 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when we used to go to work at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That's when we were reaching back at home after the gigs. So it was like a
Turn
big
the other way
spiritual-
around. Just turn
Yeah,
the other way around.
the
Then.
other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I was saying, I used to struggle with my weight when I was riding, and now that I stopped, I could eat well, and actually I've gained like 30 pounds. It doesn't look like it, but I was like skin and bone when I was riding.
Right.
So I've actually gained 30 pounds since I stopped riding,
Wow.
and I feel much better now, healthier, and maybe that's why I'm speaking as much now because I'm having
Happier.
some kind of nutrition in my body.
Yes, yes.
But
yes.
the weights were different back in those days too. You guys had to put a lot of weight more than
I
the
had
horse
to
and gate.
struggle.
It was hard on you guys back in those
The
days.
regular weight was 115, and then they
Yeah.
go down to 110.
Yeah, that was you
And
guys
I
had it
was
rough,
struggling to
man.
make 15.
Yeah.
And
the
Laura
youngsters-
Silveira, he
Can't help
warned me. He says,
Yeah.
not 1 pound over, or
Yeah.
I'm getting a lighter rider.
Yes.
He told me
He was very big on that.
weight will stop trains,
Yes.
much less racehorses. So he said, if you're going overweight, you're riding another horse in the race. He's not going overweight.
That has a lot to do with our European background, especially guys coming from West Indies, because everybody was like that back in the islands, man.
Right? Yeah. They don't want to carry the overweight.
No. Never.
But I must say, for Michael Silveira now,
Yes.
was the opposite.
Yes.
He once put me on a horse with 13 pounds overweight.
Wow.
The horse did still win,
Wow.
but it didn't matter to him.
He didn't
He
mind.
said, George, as long as you want to ride this horse,
Yes.
you're going with any weight you can make.
Wow.
It was 13 pounds overweight, and the horse, but they're two different outlook on racing. Michael and Laurie Silveira.
I remember one time Lori told me if you carry 1 pound over, you don't believe in the handicapping system.
Exactly. That's
Wow.
That's him. That's Laurie Silveira.
And then he said, not 1 pound over.
Yeah. And
That's how Omar Moreno got his break with him too, because he believed in him, the bug rider, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he believed in a bug rider.
So that's why Emil lasted so long too, because Emil, I think at that time was tacking 11 or 12.
Yeah,
so
Emil- Emil
he
was
never
very
had a problem
right,
with his
problem.
weight.
Yeah.
Those guys are blessed, those naturally short guys they're blessed. There should be riders.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you would just share something with the young riders of today, George, what would it be? If you had to share something
Okay,
with
yes. Sean and I was talking about the young riders,
Yes.
especially the ones that from the islands, Jamaica and Barbados and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our racing days are sparing lot. We are still once a week in Jamaica. How much are you up to now Sean, in Barbados?
Jamaica is twice. We are only once. Barbados is once a week.
Yes. So
twice a month. Sorry, twice a month. And where Jamaica is now twice a week, Wednesday and Saturday.
Yes. So here we go. Yeah. Jockeys are athletes, right? And you can work and exercise horses, 100 horses in one day. You can't be as fit as riding in one horse race.
Yes.
A horse race is so demanding mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're riding once a week, and you might be riding 5 or 6 races for the day, but it cannot compare to North America, where 5 days a week.
Yes.
And you can be riding.
Every
You
day.
can be riding night, and you can be riding day.
Yes.
You can finish a day and go somewhere and ride at night if the track is close enough.
Yes.
And as athletes, the fitter we are, is the better we are. We're sharper, fitter, and we're more agile.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice to riders from the Caribbean is, if they get a chance to come to North America, any recognized racetrack,
Mm-hmm.
and apply their trade, and just try to get some experience. It's a much different scenario. The jockey's room is more like a hotel, cafeteria and exercise room. The hot box, the sweat box, and most racetracks, they have swimming pools and games room. So jockeys really are, comfortable to be spending 5 days a week and mostly all day. But if you're a rider that exercise horses in the morning, you're there for a few hours, and then by the time you're ready to ride, it's 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the day. So it's mostly spending all day at the racetrack.
Yes.
But the experience to ride uh, 5 days a week, several races a day, turf, dirt, and the new synthetic surface,
Yes.
can only make a rider better.
Mhm.
Plus, they're so exposed to race riding, to see themselves riding. I think in Jamaica now they have the reruns right away,
Mhm.
just to watch themselves ride.
Right.
But not when I was there with the jockey school. 10 years, I think it was about 10 years ago, I did a jockey school
Yes.
program, and we didn't have those equipment uh, to for the young riders to experience, like the gym, and that exercise, the wood horse exerciser.
Yes, the exerciser. Yes.
Exerciser.
That's a very great piece of equipment. We
Mhm.
couldn't afford that, I think, and the videos, it was hard to get to for the riders, and like the young riders, we didn't have a training track.
Mhm.
Caymanas Park has one track, the main track, and for a young rider to be learning, as opposed to in America where they have a training center
Right.
for jockeys, for young jockeys,
Mhm.
and they go through the whole from start to finish, from grooming or right up until to ride, the anatomy of a racehorse,
Yes.
and I think we're kind of doing that too in Jamaica now.
Mhm.
What we could do with better equipment and better facilities
Mhm.
for the young riders.
Right.
But bottom line is try to go overseas, get some exposure to foreign racing, uh, better themselves, and hopefully they can make a living out of it. Some of my guys from my class, there were 23 riders at the time from my class, and they're going to get licensed, and there's once a week racing. What kind of chances do they have?
Mhm. Mhm.
10 races for the day, and back then it was once a week and sometimes twice.
Mhm.
The older riders aren't retiring soon enough,
Yes.
so only a couple really had a chance to make a living.
Mhm.
So I encourage most of them to do what I was saying to you, try to go overseas.
Yes.
Even if they didn't get a chance to race ride, there's a good living in galloping horses in the
Yes.
morning.
Yes.
And I've actually seen quite a few of them here at Gulfstream Park,
Mhm.
uh, galloping horses in the morning and making a good living,
Mhm.
which they couldn't have done back
Yes.
home in Jamaica.
Correct. Correct.
So it is solid advice for a young rider to try to go overseas and get some experience.
Yes.
So in a nutshell, that is what my advice is to young riders.
We preach that here however we can. I'm so happy to get your backing on that. Because
Yes,
every one of us sitting here today have been overseas. Leroy's still in Canada. Rhett rode in Canada. I worked in Canada and trained in Canada. I worked with Laurie Severe, then I trained. So for me, I'm back home now, but I still would like to see some more of our guys go out. I think
Well, a
explore.
lot about our show, Sean, is to try to motivate the
yes,
youngsters to learn
yes,
from experienced horsemen like George Hosang, yourself,
yes,
Leroy Darren, the sport. We want to encourage our youth to take the chance,
Take the
learn,
chance.
step up to the plate, and broaden your horizons. I mean, we've got a BTMI racing report coming up where we have jockeys in West Virginia, Alberta, Vancouver, Toronto, throughout New York, Florida. Like, we're really growing and we just want to continue that growth.
And the thing about it is, right, George, Barbadian riders, we come from that little bush track there, 6 furlongs is small, but
Yeah.
riders come from the garrison and do well in the international field, and it's amazing. I think it's, I don't know how to explain why it happens, but I think it's the track itself teaches you a skill of balance and and
Yeah.
just being, we're all like sardines going around that paddock band together. And you have to go around in unison. You can't cut off a guy or nothing like that. And they're all, each generation have done it well. So I mean, when we spoke to Jim Bannon, I always remember what Jim Bannon said. He said, once you ride at the Garrison, it's guaranteed that you have really, you know what I mean, you've done what you're
Can
supposed
ride
to do.
anywhere,
You
yes.
can ride anywhere in the world, man.
In the
And
world, yes.
our guys are showing that. You know, I mean, Ricky Griffith would have been the first body who made it in a Woodbine, but we had guys like Winston Walton who would have gone there before Ricky. I don't know if Winston was there when you were there for the brief time he was there, but Ricky's body who really broke through. You know what I mean? And his brother
Yes,
Chris followed
okay.
him soon afterwards and went to Fort Erie, and he was a champion down there multiple times. So we keep preaching that, man. We keep, and this is not a Barbados thing anymore. It's a West Indian thing. You know, we're all connected to one another, and we want to keep on. All our riders, Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever. Keep fighting, guys.
So George was the only Jamaican rider to win a title at Woodbine, right?
Yes.
As a
From what I
Jamaican.
can recall, yes.
Yeah, and then Trinidad it was Emil.
Yes.
Ramsamy, Emil Ramsamy, yes.
Yeah, those were from Trinidad and Jamaica.
George,
Right.
look who's on the line there, Mrs. Silvera, man.
Oh,
Claudia.
yes, Claudia. Wow.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. That
Wonderful
good
seeing
woman
you, George.
is a
Great
so
show.
great,
George looked
great
wonderful.
lady.
She called me last night. She told me she was so excited to hear you were on, and she's still
Great
on. Watch
lady.
it.
Great lady. She and her daughter,
Yes.
they are,
Well,
Claudia.
Claudia.
Claudette is her daughter, yeah.
That's right. And
Yes.
Claudia worked at the track thing, but all the other daughters that weren't really tracky. They didn't really come together. But I met all of them since. And she was married
Big
to
shout,
Carl.
a big
Remember
shout
Carl?
out to you, Miss Claudia.
I'm sure she's watching too.
And the whole
Yes.
family, because he had what his son name was
Arthur.
training too.
Arthur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Arthur was a trainer too. Yeah.
Yes.
So
you remember Peter Silvera too?
of
Peter.
Peter Silvera, that
Yeah.
was his
Yes,
nephew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I haven't seen him this year. I haven't seen him this year at all. I don't know if he's not well or something like that, but I haven't seen him this year at the
You
You know
track.
what? He friended me on Facebook earlier this year, so I know he's on. He friended me and stuff.
But
I
he was
thought-
there
I
all
thought-
last. He was there all last year, but I haven't seen him this year yet. And
But now he told me, so I gotta shout him out. And I gotta give him a message and see what's going on.
because all last year he was there at the track with Rodney when Rodney was training a lot of those horses that
Yes.
Spirits had. But this
Yes.
year I haven't seen him this year so far, so I don't know if he's not well or what.
Yes.
Yeah, and
No,
I don't
man,
think
this show's a great show, man. I'm so happy that wow, people loving it.
Yes.
It's the best show ever.
So, gentlemen, is it past midnight where you are at?
not
no.
yet, not yet.
Not yet.
But
Not
we're
yet.
we're gonna let you go get your beauty sleep, George.
Yeah. No, I told Sean I had to skip dinner. This show went right into my dinner time.
Uh-oh.
I didn't want to be eating on the show. So
Okay, all right. Well,
George,
that's it.
I didn't think you. I didn't think you told me your attention span is not very much there. Like, you've gone more than we expected, man.
this is not really me you're talking to.
Well, that's great. That's great.
It's
Well,
a new
let's-
synthetic
you know,
George Hosang.
It was a pleasure talking
Yes.
and meeting you, Brett,
Same
Leroy.
here.
Thank you
Sure.
very
I
much.
just-
Thank you.
Yeah, I just met Sean a couple weeks ago, and
Yes.
my good lifetime friend, Darren.
Darren. Yes.
It's
I'm gonna
great to see
soon,
you.
Darren. I'm coming up there one summer to see you and meet.
I'll
the
be
family.
here.
Okay.
It's been a
Okay,
pleasure.
guys.
Thank
All right,
you
guys.
very, very
And
much.
in the
George
winter, I'll
Hosang.
make my way to see you where it's warm.
Come on down, man.
Okay.
We'll come in the winter time when
Yeah.
the winter break. Yeah.
Yeah. He's too busy to
Again.
leave now. Okay,
I'll
Sean,
put
you
you-
sign off, Sean. Sean, we leave this for you to sign off, Sean.
George, it's been a pleasure. This is, I mean, because of my affiliation with Laurie Severa, when I went there in '89, You left in '86. They were still talking about you. So that's all I used to hear about in his barn. And for me to finally meet you, talk to you like this in this arena here right now, it's heaven. I really appreciate you doing this show for us, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Sam. I appreciate it, man. And I'm so proud that I made an impression that you can still remember me.
Yes.
We'll never forget you, sir. You will
Yes.
never be forgotten. And when I do shows like this, that's why I'm doing shows like this. I'm making sure that guys like you who paved the way for many of us West Indians,
Yes. Yes.
but never ever be
Amen
forgotten.
to that. Amen to that.
Never ever, sir.
Amen to
We're
that.
recording history.
Yes, sir.
Amen to that. All
Thank
right.
you
Well,
so
you go
much.
get yourself something to eat before you get bad feels that we were saying to West Indies, or little ear starts to hit you in the wrong places.
It's called gas, right?
Yes.
Flatulence.
Okay. All right. Thanks again.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Hosang.
Great seeing you, George.
Great.
Here.
Guys.
Wow.
All right,
Wow.
guys. What a
That's
keeps
a warm
getting
moment.
better,
man.
huh?
Yes.
Jesus, Lord.
Yes.
I mean,
Wow.
I don't know what to say.
How are we gonna beat that now, Sean?
I don't know how we can beat that. How we can beat that? The great George
George
was
Hosang.
and he was.
You know what I love the
He wasn't gonna
most?
talk too much.
He
but
was
20.
relaxed.
Yes.
He was
Yes,
enjoying the show himself. Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Hosang. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
this is the success of this show where we're
Yes.
recording history here.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said it, Sean. You're putting them down in the history books, and we're making sure those history books don't go hidden.
Yes.
Yes. And
For
I'm
all
so
to
happy,
know.
man. This is
Yes.
a great night, guys. I thank you guys for also. I mean, I don't know. I know I get to points and I'm speechless, guys. So let's go to the next thing. We got some guys waiting to come in here.
Waiting. Go keep
All
those
right.
guys waiting. Bring
Well,
those
let's-
guys in.
Bring those
Let's
guys in,
hear
man.
from
The show's not over
a
yet,
few
man.
of our sponsors, and we will get back up to it.
Yes.
This is the BTMI Weekly Report.
Our BTMI weekly report updates you on Barbadian jockeys, trainers, and horsemen who work throughout North America, the UK, and all other parts of the world. First off, we want to congratulate Barbadian trainer Carlos Grant, who won race number 10 at Woodbine Racetrack on Sunday, May 22nd. When Jack, ridden by Luis Contreras, finished first by 1 3/4 lengths. This was the first winner of the year for Carlos at Woodbine. Congratulations to Barbadian and Jamaican trainer Nigel Burke, who has run 6 horses for the year and now has 3 winners. That's a 50% win average. I'm pretty sure any trainer would love to keep those high percentages. Nigel actually won a hat trick as he won his last 3 races on May 12th, 13th, and May 20th. Keep up the great work, Nigel and his team. Congratulations also goes to trainer Safi Joseph Jr., who has already won 65 races throughout North America in 2022. He has had 304 runners for the year at 11 racetracks, such as Gulfstream Park, Churchill Downs, Pimlico, Horseshoe Indianapolis, Belmont Park, Woodbine, Keeneland, Aqueduct, Tampa Bay Downs, Fairgrounds, and even Maiden Racecourse in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. On May 21st, Mr. Joseph won the second race at Gulfstream Park with Positive Review, who finished first by 7.5 lengths and was ridden by Alyssa Morrison. On that same day, Safi Joseph returned with another runner in race 7 and won with Anna's Dream by 1 1/4 lengths And then again on May 22nd, Hrothgar finished first by 1 1/4 lengths and was ridden by Miguel Vasquez. Creative Cloud won a claiming race on May 20th at Gulfstream Park, and the day before, Mr. Safi Joseph Jr. won with She's All Woman, ridden to victory by Edwin Gonzalez. The Safi Joseph trained Skippy Longstocking ran a credible 5th in the Preakness Stakes on May 21st. Congratulations to the Safi Joseph racing team. Keep up the great work. Congratulations are also sent out to Barbadian jockey Jalon Samuel, who rode on May 22nd at Monmouth Park and won aboard Diva Banker, who finished first by 2 3/4 lengths in a starter optional claiming event. Deshaun Bino won race 1 at Century Mile Racetrack and Casino in Leduc County, Alberta, next to the Edmonton International Airport on sports car by 3/4 length. This is his first win for the year. Way to go, Deshaun. Rico Walcott won race number 4 by 1/2 length at Century Mile Racetrack and Casino on Kiki Kimono, his 3rd winner for 2022. Rico also won with All That Gold, who finished first by 11 3/4 lengths on May 22nd. Now we head to Woodbine, where on May 21st, 2022, we showed you a video, or we will show you a video in the upcoming Slade Jones weighing in for his first race at Woodbine Racetrack. He finished unplaced on this his first mount and on his second mount the next day. I believe he had a ride today and finished 3rd in his race. So we wish him all the best and good luck in the future. We missed Patrick Husband's happy birthday on May 22nd, so we would like to wish him a happy belated birthday to Patrick Beaumont Husbands. Patrick Husbands is now the 2nd Bajan rider to win a stakes race in North America this year, after winning his 2nd stakes at Woodbine, taking the $100,000 Ruling Angel Stakes on summertime on Saturday, May 21st. Patrick has now won 7 races at Woodbine Racetrack out of only 25 starts, giving him a solid 28% win average. Patrick also won the $100,000 Ruling Stakes on Summertime Magic aboard Talbia, bred in Ireland, who finished first by 3 lengths. Steve Jadu, a Trinidadian jockey, won race 2 at Woodbine on May 20th, Tall Water, and finished first by a neck for trainer Beverly Chubb. Over in Charlestown on May 20th, Kimar Trotman moved up to 13 wins this year. Kimar Trotman won on Dealer's Girl on May 20th at Charlestown Racetrack, which is just outside the eastern city limits of Charlestown, West Virginia, owned by Gaming and Leisure Properties, operated by Penn National Gaming. May 21st, Rashawn Latchman, Barbadian Rashawn Latchman, wins the $75,000 It's Been Too Long Stakes on Silky Serena at Charlestown Racecourse. This is his 31st winner of the year in the United States. On Wednesday, May 25th, Rashawn Latchman also won on Epic Time by a neck for trainer Christopher Cope, increasing his win total to 32 winners for the year. Rocco Bowen won race number 2 at Hawthorne with Stars Over Paradise on May 20th, bringing his total to 27 wins in the USA for 2022. My brother, Slade Callahan, at 51 years old, has also begun his 2022 racing meet at Woodbine Racetrack with 2 rides last Saturday for his wife, Kelly Callahan. But although they didn't get any higher than 4th place, I loved how his horse, Komodo Kate, galloped out. I'm going to keep an eye on him, and she will be my pick of the week next time she runs. And moving over the pond to the UK, we have the Kazoo Derby on June 4th, where Barbadian trainer Sir Michael Stout is chasing his 6th win with Desert Crown. This is 41 years after he first won the Epsom Downs Classic with the mighty Shergar.
This is the BTMI Weekly Report.
Hey guys, did I miss any riders, trainers, jockeys, grooms?
Listen, that took about 20 minutes to read. Is it that so much Barbadians are doing well all over the place? Wow.
Hey, if the guys are still gonna do great, we're gonna applaud them and give them kudos. Cheers to all Barbadians, Trinidadians, Jamaicans, all of them.
But
Way
the
to go.
BTMI report is now, we're gonna need a whole show to do that.
You got that right. But you know what's more exciting, Sean?
Tell me.
We got a secret coming up that we're gonna disclose now.
All right.
Sean Hall and Leroy Trotman, Journeys, the talk show, are now introducing to you Chris Griffith and Tyler Gaskin, our new racing correspondents from 40 Ray Racetrack and Woodbine.
I'm wearing my 40 Ray hat too. I got my 40 Ray hat.
Y'all were about to tune in to me sleeping here.
Brett, you know, Tyler, I was like, somebody wake up Tyler.
Yeah, I said,
hey, Brett, you know, you just let down a whole lot of people. You talk about this secret that you gotta release. You just let down the whole audience.
You can hear them all jumps at the same time.
Those jumps in because it's very important, guys.
It was a whole secret that Sean, Leroy, and I knew. You guys offered to help us out, so thank you. But you all offered to help us out a week or two ago. So yes, it was a secret, and we kept that secret close to our chest for 2 weeks.
I listen, when I agreed to help you, I didn't know it would mean that I had to be up till 10 o'clock at night.
I didn't see that in the contract.
I thought this was a daytime gig, man.
Sean, you're running 2 hours and 53 minutes, Sean.
Yes,
but guess
listen,
what? Tyler and Chris don't always stay here for another hour or two.
No,
do it.
That
You're gonna be late tomorrow.
Listen, this is something called growth. Okay, this Journeys talk show is growing in stature. We are expanding. I'm very grateful to get the help from you two guys to give us that extra arms out there to get some videos and talk to people and that kind of stuff. I've seen your work already. I'm very impressed, and I'm looking forward to what more you guys are going to bring in the future.
I'm gonna record that part of the show, that speech you just gave, because when I say my bill, I hope you still.
I don't care how much the bill is. My mouth is still going to be sweet on you guys.
Hey,
I don't care, man.
Seriously though, that interview with Hosang was brilliant.
Yeah, that was great.
That was brilliant.
I got up the notch, guys.
So Laura told me one day, he said, you remind me of Hosang, because when he first started, I said, he have no shot. He have no shot. Same thing I said when you start and wave your bug. You have no shot. He said, but like Hosang, you proved me wrong. He said he had no shot. So Laura, you remember, so Laura tell you straight, boy.
He don't pull no punches.
No, man, but
hey, listen, I tell you a quick story about my only Hosang story.
Yes.
And it involves Sir Laurie. I think it was 97 or something like that.
Yes.
They had this jockey challenge in Jamaica.
Yes.
And they was having a team of overseas based West Indians.
Yes.
And Laurie asked me if I wanted to go. I said I didn't really want to go. And he said, Chris, you know, you're gonna be in a team with Hosang. As soon as he said Hosang name, I start thinking, well, this is free money. I go on his team. I go to Jamaica. I know they can give him all the good horses. All I gotta do is go back and collect the money.
Yeah.
Long story short, when I get to Jamaica, the Jamaican riders had all the good horses. Me and Hosang was riding some donkey.
Did you at least get?
I thought I was going down to get free money off of Hosang.
Did you at least get a police escort?
No, I didn't have to get a police escort. But one thing I would tell you, I know that the draws for who's supposed to ride who was supposed to be random.
Yeah.
That was not random at all.
Random means not in your favor.
I said that was random my behind.
When they win one, Chris? When they win one, Chris?
Listen, the first race we rode,
Uh-huh.
I in the back and I looking up to see where Hosang is. If he get any points, if he getting any money.
Yeah.
I can't find it. When I look back, he behind me. This ain't going as planned at all. I don't think me nor him hit the board.
Oh, that's a great one, man. That's a
That
great one.
interview was really good. I didn't know he was that funny.
Wow.
I thought he was gonna be so quiet, man.
Yeah, because everybody always say how quiet he is. It was a surprise to me.
But you guys say we don't know how long Georgie would talk. You give an island man a stage. Any island man, you know he's gonna talk. He's gonna talk.
That's good advice.
Any island man gonna talk. You know that.
Yeah,
I was so nervous that I thought we were just gonna get an hour out of him. You know, he told me, he said, Sean, I lose things very quickly. I don't interest, I said, Lord have mercy. So I started thinking of all these ideas. I brought Darren, all these kind of stuff. I thought my friend Chris Martin to try to give me some things, and Chris give me all of these. I don't think we really have to use a story for Chris, man. Sorry, Chris, but I mean, George took the stage and took it in his direction. And
well, Tyler and Chris, you all might have seen me behind the scenes backstage. Leroy, don't forget to introduce Darren. To introduce Darren. About 20 minutes later, the guys, we still talking, but don't forget to introduce Darren.
Yeah.
I got this paper I read with him out, my stats and everything.
Hold on. And Sean, your best friend, Chris Griffith.
Yes.
Again, third, yeah. You all still want Tyler and I on the show tonight. Chris, that was you. Chris, like you all got sleep.
Listen, Brett told me, Brett like to have everything in order. Brett said, be ready about 8 o'clock. We need to be on time. 8:30. I started wondering, I had to look back at the email and see if he mean 8 a.m. Man, tell me 8 o'clock.
If you'd have cut on, you would have catch me like this here. Look, I was like this here.
I know you guys gotta get up early in the morning and stuff, so guys.
I just told my boss I'm gonna be late, so he good.
well, what Tyler?
I mean Leroy.
Leroy, your boss.
Yeah, one of my bosses. Yeah, Leroy.
Well, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Introduce to us this little video that you submitted. Your first piece that we're gonna publish right now for everyone to see.
Well, just the start of Slade Jones's early young career at Woodbine. Just took a little quick couple videos, for a memory for him to send to his mother and to give to you guys to show the people a little bit what it's like before jocks get ready and go out to ride. Yeah.
And let's take a quick look.
This historic moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
Thank you.
All back, Jenny. And there it is. Official. Get back on the scale. Get back on the scale. It's historic for him, not me.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Getting ready for the first ride at Woodbine. This is Slade Jones. Sitting next to Kazushi Kimura and Daisuke Fukimoto. Slade Jones.
Excellent piecing that videos together, man. Great
Very
job, Tyler.
very important when he got on the scale. He was at 17 point.
You can see it. You can see he's tall, but he's light. He's light.
Very important. Yeah.
That's great, man.
You got that. You sent that to his mother so she could see his first right. You know, just
She
keep everybody in touch.
She's got it already.
I think everybody on this show right now was like when we were 16 too.
Exactly.
The fight is to stay light.
Yes. You can see blowing up. It's in his family. If seeing his father here with him now.
Yes.
John O got a hell of a handshake now, boys. He's
got a little wit behind that shake.
John O shook my hand the other day. I said, hey.
Be careful. You might have a good punch too now. He's not hungry anymore.
No, he's not exerting that much energy. He ain't gonna.
Great.
So, as one of our 5 members of our new team, Jennifer Morrison, great team we got there, guys.
Thank you, Jen.
You guys worked hard on the show. Well done. Thank you for including me. Thank you for coming and supporting us too, Jen.
Listen, Jen is a. I mean, she's a big one. I just say back in Barbados. I mean, we need. It's a joy, it's an honor to have somebody here.
2 times Sovereign Award winning.
3 times.
3 or 2?
3. Come on, don't steer off of that one, man. 3 times Sovereign Award winner. And, you know,
that's awesome.
It's an honor to have her on the show. And I really thank her for gracing us with her presence. Thank you, Jen. Next.
There's Peter.
Chris,
what are you doing in the morning, Chris?
Me?
Yeah.
I still get on the horses in the morning.
Still getting the horses too. Good. Still staying in shape.
Yeah.
Keeping staying young.
Trying to, but I don't know if it's working.
I'm Brett. I got some news here. You forgot one rider. Chris Husbands won the first today. So Chris, sorry for missing you out.
Kevin went today too.
And Kevin went today too.
Kevin went today too.
Yeah.
Patrick
won, right?
Patrick won too. Melvin won too.
All right, well, I was tabulating my racing report from yesterday. So forgive me, guys.
Sorry. I sent those messages to you and I was laughing at the joke, but I thought you wrote them down, but you didn't. So that's my fault also.
Chris, I tell Sean, I say, Sean, get me all the videos by 6 p.m. Wednesday night. I get things at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I got 2 hours before the show.
We only get the call this afternoon around 4. You could be on the show. Well, still at work, but I'll try.
No, that's how we roll. Cause I know we've been talking all night now, so that's why my vision is, you know, I can see what's going to be
like that. As it comes to you, it just flies at you.
West Indian style, man.
Well, here's one, Chris Griffith, your contribution to the Journey show. Everyone heard of One Crawford from Barbados? Let's catch up and see what he's been doing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with jockey Juan Crawford, fellow Barbadian, who's also made his way to Canada. Juan's going to give us a quick summary of his journey into horse racing. So Juan, how did you get into horse racing? Like, did you always want to become a jockey? How did you end up at the track?
Yeah, from younger, growing up, I've been watching Let's Go to the Races. That would have been on Thursday night.
Oh yes,
Let's Go, in Barbados. And I got fascinated with the horse racing. One of the riders called him Eddie Maple. You know, excitement to see him. Like they will always say Eddie Maple, between horses, splitting horses. You know, that was like a thrill, excitement. And then by the time I got like 13 years old, the turf club there were looking for a fresh set of riders. So they had the riding school.
Oh yes, the jockey school.
Yeah, so I applied and I got through and spent what they call a crash course, because we only had 6 months to achieve all of the basic knowledge we need to learn with the horses and everything. So, and that would have been like 94. So started riding then, won my first race in 95, and then had 2 years with just running seconds, not winning a race, and then started back winning in 97. Then by 1998, won my first riding title at home.
First riding title in
Yeah,
Barbados.
I was still an apprentice at the time, so I won both championships then.
So you were leading apprentice and leading rider.
And leading rider.
Okay.
And then 99 had leading apprentice again. In 2000, leading apprentice again, and from there went on and win 2 more open riding titles, because then my apprenticeship was finished.
So you won 2 more titles as
after that, and
journeyman.
Yes, then along with all of the state races I won at home, the only one that I didn't won was the Gold Cup, but all of the other state races I won. Yeah, and then they had an opportunity to come to Canada, and they was looking for riders for out west. Originally, the first time
Out west, Winnipeg, or
well, the first time it was Northlands
or Alberta.
Alberta,
Okay.
and that's when well, I didn't went that first time. It would have been Quincy Welch and all of those
that's
left
what
and right. Yeah. So then in 2002, I went to Winnipeg in Manitoba then, because they needed riders, and I got the opportunity. Went there to ride. You know, it was a rough time in Manitoba. You know, was doing really good. You know, as a fresh rider there.
Yeah.
I would have been like sitting at one point. I was in second, then I was leading the standings. Had an altercation with another rider, and pulled my license on me. Originally, they weren't supposed to, but the politics of it, they still pulled my license. And also, I sat almost 3 months without being able to ride. So I went from being leading at the time, and I only got to ride the last week of races, and still ran second.
You still ended up second in the
Yeah,
standings?
still ended up second in the
I didn't know
standings. Yeah, they had to really hunt me down to get by me then. Yeah, so that year, I won 45, but I only got to actually ride about half of the season.
Oh, okay.
And from there, then I went back there in 2003. Then I was away from there for a few years, because I went back to Barbados riding. They were giving me trouble with my license.
After Winnipeg, you went back to Barbados.
I went back to Barbados because
Okay.
they were giving me trouble. They want to give me back my license to ride. You know, all political, nothing to do with me being able to ride or anything.
Okay.
You know, yeah, just
and
there.
then you were still on a work permit too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back
so that
then,
makes it tougher,
yeah, made it much tougher. So I went back to Barbados, and I was riding. Ended up being in like 2 more championships at the time there. Did well, you know, because I was riding on contract for most of the bigger outfits there.
Okay.
And then after a while, I had my my landing for Canada.
You got your residency for Canada.
Yeah,
so
so
that's when you came back.
Yeah, but I still was riding in Barbados for a while. But then the immigration was like, no, you gotta show up, because then you can't be in Barbados and not in Canada. You need to come and activate.
Yes,
You know,
yeah,
so
okay.
I decided, all right, myself and the family, we decided to come back to Canada, and I went back to Winnipeg in 2010. And Patrick Husbands, he left Woodbine and he came to Winnipeg, because he mentioned it before. Please do not go back to Winnipeg. They're just killing your career, and you're wasting your talent there.
Yeah.
So he said, well, he'll organize something for me with his brother here in Fort Erie.
Yeah.
Which is Anthony Husbands.
Yeah.
So at the end of the meet in 2011, I came to Fort Erie and finished up the last portion of the season, and went to Woodbine at the end of that year. So from there, it was 2012. I started Fort Erie full time.
Okay, so, and you've been in Ontario.
Yeah,
ever
since then.
since,
Yeah,
okay.
never went back over to Manitoba or anything. So
I know 2 years ago you were leading rider in Fort Erie, right?
Yes.
And then last year you got off to a slow start because you missed some of the days
yeah, I
at the
missed
beginning.
the first 4 days on suspension, and
so-
end up running second in the end.
So what are your plans for this year? Are you planning splitting time between both tracks? Or you
Yeah,
gonna focus.
well, my focus always on wherever I am.
Wherever
you
you
know,
are,
I always gonna give it my all. Like, now I have a even start with the other riders in Fort
Yes.
Erie. You know, I had an even start with the riders in Woodbine. So I just
And
utilize.
you got off to a good start. So you won about 4 or 5
Yes,
already,
I
right?
have 4 wins so far,
Okay.
and Woodbine. And for theory, my goal would always be to win championships wherever I go, you know.
All right, so you're letting the people know right
Yeah,
now.
that is
right?
my
'Cause
mission.
I spoke to Kirk earlier, and Kirk told me the same thing. Kirk said he's throwing down the gauntlet. So
Yeah, so I'm pleased with that because the more challengers that I
more the
have,
better.
yeah,
The
the
more the
better,
better.
yeah, the better riders I'm amongst.
all right, so we can look forward to some serious riding this year.
Yes, some serious riding straight off the bat. Get the horses and get the job done.
All right, well, best of luck to you,
All right,
Juan.
thank you.
Thanks for doing the interview. And
Anytime.
to the people in Journeyland, this is Juan Crawford, and you can look out for him at Woodbine and Fort Erie. Look for him in the winner's circle.
Yes.
All right. Peace.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Take it over here, Kurt.
No, no.
I was sleeping on the job, man. He's sleeping on the job, boys.
I tell you, watching that video,
John,
Crawford had
you
me hot,
gotta-
yeah.
Hey, listen, none when I mentioned my state. You like my state of the art studio or what?
Oh, yeah.
First class. First class. Well seated. It's well seated too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can interview 2-3 people at a time in my studio.
All I was thinking was, how much does that cost to fill up with gas?
Well, you know, I live in Fort Erie. Fort Erie is small. I don't go far.
You don't have to go far. You don't have to go far. You'll have to drive to Woodbine.
One thing I can say though, one thing
last day a week.
Yeah.
Serious note with this guy, Juan Crawford. I mean, I read up on him online, and he really got a real raw deal. He took him to court, and he actually won. And,
Oh yeah. I tried to just do a
What was that
version
deal?
of his story, but he went through some stuff. He got a raw deal. He was one of the. I think he was one of the first guys that really went out to Winnipeg.
Yes.
Wasn't really a easy.
It wasn't
road.
friendly. It wasn't a friendly
It
place.
was not friendly to say the least.
Yes.
So he have quite. Everybody have a story. Every rider have a story, and
Yes.
he got quite the story too.
But I read about his story online, man. He went to court and he won the case. I mean,
he was definitely done wrong.
Yeah.
With what happened out there anyway.
And not only that though, some of the press really was in his favor, and West Indian riders, they were saying that these guys came to this track with a lot of these old guys who have gone on a little longer than they should have, and these guys are riding, bring a new style of riding. That's what I said. The reporter said, new style of riding. They're really aggressive. Because Barbadians are accustomed to these small tracks already, because we ride Morrison, so we know the right kind of tighten. But I don't think they wanted that.
He would have to he would have to give you the details himself.
Yes, I read the story. I read it, and I got a kind of idea where I'm glad he touched the bedtime. One of these days we have to do a story of him to get.
That's why I told him. I said save the details for another time.
Yes, great, great job.
Let's make sure that we're not bringing it on too early to kill his career neither too, right? We don't want to do that at the same time, right?
Yeah, but that's Manitoba. We're talking Manitoba stuff. He seems to be at home.
I know, but sometimes wherever it goes, sometimes people take it the wrong way too, right? And you know how our luck is, right, guys?
You don't want to poison anybody's career. Like we were talking, Sean, about Leroy. You don't want to jeopardize anyone's career.
You gotta be very smart about that, right?
I can tell you, I went out to Calgary when Jamar, Quincy, I think Trotty was with them. The first ones to go out to Calgary.
Yeah.
And Desmond Bryant was the other one. Yeah. And I can tell you, in Calgary, it wasn't accepted very well at all. I mean, there were things in the jocks room that I ain't gonna repeat the words. Y'all can guess what they are. And I mean, we were just 16 and 17, and it was four. I mean, out there, I was I was dark, and it was four of us and all these men that just didn't want us there.
Yeah.
And it was I mean, this is before they all had dreads and stuff. So Crawfy going out there as a dread.
He would have definitely been a standout.
Yeah, it's a different scenario.
Yeah. So we gotta be very careful before we push on that. I mean, Chrissy, you were a writer too, and you had to go through some stuff yourself, although you weren't at dreads and stuff like that too. So
I still trying to grow dreads now, but they won't come in.
Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy.
Won't get no longer.
Bring back the Jerry curl, Griff.
All right, guys.
When we came to Ontario, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be some stuff, but I tell you what, I mean, when we started primarily, I guess between Fortery and Woodbine.
Yeah.
I know myself nor Ricky. If you're gonna say it, you better say it behind our back.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna tolerate that shit.
No.
We didn't have no toleration for that at all. So
But all in all, Canada has been good for us, Barbadians. It's allowed us to grow. We've met a lot of Canadians and overseas people along the road and journeys, and they've become our friends, allies.
Yes, 98% of the people I've met in Canada have been very good.
Yeah, be great. Yeah,
we all know who the 2% are.
Yeah.
Well, look at what Marcus Murray says. He loves it, loves it, he loves it, he loves it most. The motivation and knowledgeable show. God bless you guys.
Yeah, but does he love it,
Marcus?
Yeah,
but does he love it? And then
that is Jazzy, our feed guy, man, food guy, the food man. So
my boy Sylvester. So all the old people staying up late tonight.
Yes, I heard it.
But Leroy,
Leroy,
look who's coming into your show.
Oh, there's my little man.
This 11-year-old kid?
Yes, that's it, man.
Kid.
He young. He could afford to stay. He young.
Great kid, though, man. Great kid.
Yes. Oh, Vernon, my guy, man.
Leroy, that's his first post. I got about 5 more posts on your little guy.
Oh, yeah?
Sending us notes along the way. So I'm just going through from the top to bottom now.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to all of our followers, making sure everyone goes on to our YouTube page, follow us, like us, make sure and subscribe. We want to get our user base up to help keep promoting our West Indian horsemen.
Correct.
That's right.
My guy Azarion Bisfam, your guy Leroy, is saying that we need a team of Rashid Hughes, Anderson Trotman, Ricky Walcott. This is before Chris and Tyler came on. But we're trying to get the Barbados Turf Club together to get a Kings versus Queens Jockeys Championship. Champion of champions, and we're going to invite Emma and Chantel. So here's hoping.
You trying to tell me I'm going to retirement now?
Yeah.
Chris, retired jockeys.
We got to get Tyler to pull his weight down, too.
No, that ain't happening.
How you gonna have a Kings versus Queen without one of the original Kings?
You gotta get back, Griff.
All right,
good job, Mark.
I'm gonna start on the treadmill tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Look, he's picking the girls' team. Look, he's
picked the girls' team for us.
Yeah. This kid is pretty knowledgeable, man. We gotta meet this kid, Sean.
Yes. We gotta bring one to show you, mean.
Yeah,
we want to see this
the
guy.
Man finish it off. It would be ideal.
Yeah,
it would be ideal.
You sure he's 11 years old, man?
Man, we only 11, so I believe he's 11.
I feel he's older than 11 years old, man.
And I'm going with what he says.
Well, you better do
I think he's a man of his word, Leroy.
From Sherry Gomez.
Yes, Sherry, how you there?
Jennifer Morrison, great story and video.
Yes.
Great footage of George.
Thanks. Thank you.
She gives us a laugh out loud.
It's getting late, and Tyler's getting real tired. I don't want him late in the morning because he's got some good horses he's got to get on. I don't want to get in trouble for him, okay?
Not yet, man.
Let's get him to bed.
Keith, this is one of the men that really think Keith Pollard, he was one of the pages who already started the ball rolling, man. Good night, Keith.
Yeah, Keith was up here early.
Yes.
All right.
I'm so happy.
I know you all just don't like to say good night, but I know Tyler half asleep, and I go
I'm good. I'm so good.
Sean, should I just cut them off? They ain't got stamina, man. They don't have stamina.
Stamina.
Yeah,
we gotta keep them. Listen, these guys gotta work during Chad Beckett, man.
No,
Listen
man.
what Chad Beckett
Hey,
said, man.
listen.
Chad
Hold on
Beckett.
1 minute. He's got some serious horses he's got to get on in the morning for us, okay? We can't get him to
Tell him,
screw it up,
Leroy.
all right? You understand
hear
me?
you.
He's got some top horse he's got to get on in the morning for Miss Carol, so we don't want him to screw it up in the morning. There's money to
No
be made,
problem.
too, right?
So we could dismiss him if class could be dismissed.
Okay. Just
If
want to be
he
sure,
needed
you know what I mean?
So Tyler,
But listen, go back there to. I want to go back to the Chad Beckett, man. Chad Beckett a bit there, please. Chad
talking
Beckett.
about the dirt surface where
Uh-huh.
they're different to the synthetic
Oh,
surface,
the
I
dirt,
think.
yeah, well, it's a completely different surface, different feel,
Yes.
especially in the cooler weather when it gets cool.
Okay. Cool.
But he didn't get
And
to ride
then-
on that. He didn't get to race right on that, right? He got hurt before that came out,
I
right?
haven't.
Was he might have ridden the dirt before it changed.
Yeah, he didn't get to ride on the synthetic though. Race right on the synthetic, right?
Isn't
You
that
sure?
what he hit the ground on? I'm pretty sure he hit the ground.
I
on.
haven't ridden
yeah,
on
you're
the
right. Yeah,
synthetic
okay.
surface.
Yeah, no, I think
Okay.
that's what he got hurt on.
Yeah, that's what he got hurt on. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Short Gimlets, thanks, Sean, for your comments. Jamal, thank you too.
Yeah.
Oh, this is our man here, man. Sean.
Sean is a weekly viewer, boy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Probably our
And
most
Sean,
loyal.
one thing I'll tell you about Sean,
viewer.
Sean can ride a bicycle better than anyone you see from here to next. He ride it from here to Fort Erie and
Yes,
back.
he does.
The man can ride a bike far, far, far.
Yeah.
Sean trading his bike for a pony now. I see Sean on the pony every day in Fort
Oh,
Erie.
he's down there now?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
he's at Fort Erie. Okay.
yeah.
And then the
Look at
saddle
man,
pole is about this
Sean
long, right?
Gimlin.
Because he's so tall.
Yeah.
Sean Gimlin, man.
Who's Sean Giblin? Oh, that's Sean. Okay.
Sean's a great man.
Yeah, he used to
So
ride.
fun
in-
He used to gallop and
That
ride
what-
too, right? He raced red a little bit,
I
right?
think
Yeah.
I think he galloped up until last year.
Yeah, Sean, man.
Yes,
I
yes,
know-
he
I
did.
know
Last
Sean.
year, he got up a little bit last year, true.
I remember because he cussed me last year. He cussed me stink one morning.
Well, I Sean is a
Last
good
year,
guy.
man cussed me.
You mustn't deserve to be cussed because Sean's a good guy. That's what I feel.
Sean, you believe all the man remembering is cuss words.
No,
Yeah,
man
You get cuss. You don't
man
forget
cussed me
cussing.
stink, right?
Yeah, you must have deserved it, man.
Don't forget something.
You're a
Man
good
cussed me.
guy. Yes, George is very funny. It was
That's
brilliant.
that's Emmanuel. I didn't know who George was. That's
No,
who
you know it. Emmanuel, no, you know.
No, you know.
No,
No,
you know.
you
No,
know.
no, you know.
Yes, Emmanuel, no, you know, man. He's funny.
These are
Write
the
him like
comments
you
from
own
earlier,
him.
right?
Eh?
These are the comments that were running during the show when
Yes,
George was
brother,
on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big, we try to just.
But this is Darren. That's Darren's wife. She used to run
Yeah,
horses
Darren's
at
wife.
Woodbine too.
Yes.
Sherry make Hosang put on his glasses.
Oh,
and
Lord.
take a closer look.
He was blushing, man. Things are
I-
working still.
And what about Rocket Ray?
Rocket
Chiming
Rocket
in.
Ray.
Thanks for
Rocket
chiming
Ray
in,
saying
Ray.
Georgie Hosang. The man just said his name, you know. He didn't say hi. He just said Rocket Ray saying Georgie Hosang.
Yeah.
And that's Rocket Ray, man. That's the man,
He's a
though.
chef.
Rocket Ray.
Chef Ray.
Yes,
Chef
Chef Ray.
Ray.
Sorry, I
Ray.
called him a cook, but he's a chef. Sorry.
Ray was
Chef,
always a
man.
chef.
He's a head chef.
Ray,
chef.
Ray was
This is what I
always a
wanted to
chef,
see,
even when he
though.
was writing.
Oh yeah, you used to cook then
Yeah, he
too.
he had
Yeah, he
always
loved to cook, man.
he always cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
So Tom Marina said here, because he was talking about the horse George Dinkle with the horse that my dad bred, and George wanted could not cut with George.
What if there was that picture at the Woodbine
Laurie,
racetrack on the
Oh,
wall
Laurie
or
Apple,
something?
Laurie
Can't one of you
Clark.
guys at Woodbine
Wow.
take a picture? Leroy
I don't-
or Tyler?
I don't think
I don't
there's
think so.
there's
It's not
not
on
that
the wall
not,
anymore?
not in the
Not that I know
sections that
about.
I look at.
I've never seen that picture.
I've never seen it.
That'd be so
So
weird.
somebody
This
will bring
was
it up, man. I
interesting.
sure somebody will find it.
Yes,
man.
if it's out there, you know who would probably be able to find it best would be Jennifer Morrison would be able to find it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
She would
Good-
probably be the
good
best one to
idea.
find it.
All right. We get Jen work on it then.
So there's to all of we.
Oh my Bajan
But
brothers.
Beijing
Yes.
All of we.
brothers.
Brothers, man. Adrian Brothers. Good night, my brother. Adrian. Thank you.
Who's Adrian now?
Adrian.
Oh, that was what's his nickname? He works for
I was
like
just
Apollo?
gonna say he probably have a nickname that none of we don't know his real name.
Oh, the tall fella that works for Mike DePaulo?
No, he's here with he's not. No, he's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, a painting. It's a painting.
It's a painting.
Oh.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
Leroy, what do you think about Omar Walker?
Who's Omar Walker now?
That's your kid.
Yeah, I don't know who's the Omar Walker though.
He's not Jamaican, Jock.
Oh, see, this kid knows more than us, man. But these things, man. This kid.
He's a Jamaican writer named Omar.
Yeah, man, he's a Jamaican writer.
Yeah,
Sean, you gotta find this kid in Barbados, man.
Man.
I feel
The
high.
kid better find us, right, Sean?
People
Now
want
that
to watch the show, man.
you would have to allot a few more than 2 hours for Ray if you get him on the show.
Listen, man. Rocky Ray, give me a shout out if you will come on the show, man. Don't leave a brother hanging. People are asking for you. I want to hear about Damascus Dan and those type of horses that usually ride for Bob Tiller. Yes.
Ray helped me out when we started. Great man.
Yes. Yeah, man, to talk about Ray, man.
Look, that is still up.
Oh,
No, that's an earlier one. That one's earlier.
Oh, that was at 9:21.
Yeah. Oh, now my mother watching you like his head up. Guarantee.
Yeah, he's sleeping right now.
And snoring loud.
Yes, my man Winston, man.
That's Winston. Now I know who the guy is, Sean.
Yeah, man. Chris gonna know Winston because I think your first win was with Winston, man. You talk about it all the time. You went wide and still win by 10.
Oh, Petag?
Yeah.
I do everything to get that horse beat, and the horse refused to lose. I said not today. We losing today.
Peter still come. He's good. Oh, okay. Because I haven't seen him all year. That's Rodney was listening about Peter Severe.
Oh,
I haven't seen him.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, guy, man. Thank you, man. But I'm happy everybody let you show, and I don't want to keep you guys up any
Okay.
longer. George is a big one.
Yeah, no, that was a good interview.
Yes, it was. It was.
Thank you. Thanks, Peter, for saying
Well,
so.
here's the thing, guys. One of the things we need to talk. Tyler and Chris, give us your ideas and suggestions. We heard they're starting evening racing on Thursday nights. June at Woodbine.
Yes. Yeah, there is started
Woodbine?
Thursday. Yeah.
At Woodbine Thursday
Yeah.
evenings. So now we may have to move our show to Wednesday evenings. Sean,
We're going 2 nights in a row?
Yeah.
2 nights.
They're gonna
We
do
just
yeah,
want
they're
one night
talking
a
about
week.
it. And it's not official yet though. It's not official yet.
For work. Oh, okay.
It's not official yet, but it's in the works.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but be sure to keep us up to date. We gotta know a week in advance.
No, years ago it used to be Thursdays was night racing years ago.
Yeah, but Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Used to be Wednesday and Thursday night, so maybe
But down at Greenwood, Chris.
yeah, used to be Wednesday and Thursday night.
I mean,
But
when
what
the
about
Wednesday,
Friday now? Friday's night races also. Friday's
Yeah.
4.
they're gonna do 2, but I think Friday's starting a little later though, T.
They're gonna go later than 10 to 5.
Later for the Thursday, and they'll take the Friday probably staying where it is.
Oh, so like they're gonna go Wednesday night, or like 6:45.
Yeah.
Just
But
to
the
let
corporate,
Sean know.
but don't forget that's for the corporate people, right?
But
Yeah,
don't
no, I hear
forget,
you.
Ross,
It just means I gotta be up. That's all.
if I work it on a Friday, it might pay again double pay.
I think that's the first I
Friday
heard
night
about
is
that.
my night off with my wife, so night comes in between me and my wife.
I'll bring the bad news to the Josie Carroll Barn Valets tomorrow. Did you guys hear we might be going Thursday nights? Jeez,
It's probably a better idea to have if they're gonna be running Thursday night. Do the show to Wednesday.
Yeah, move it to Wednesday. Yeah.
No, the 3 days off in a row is nice. Don't change that. The 3 days in a row is nice.
No, I'm not talking about the races. I mean the move the show.
Oh, the show, yeah, Wednesday, yeah.
While the races are running.
You have to,
yeah.
But really, with the cards they're running, they're better off to run at night where there's no other competition. Like it's not the strongest on a Thursday.
That's a nice way to put it.
I do bleed Woodbine Red, Griff. I do bleed Woodbine Red, baby.
Stop the press, please. Kerry DePassi said he's going to do a video soon. This is the next correspondent. Thank you, Kerry. I thought you abandoned me. I thought you were down there in Florida just drinking
Tanning.
pina coladas and didn't want to work. I don't know, but thanks.
All right, guys, let's wrap this thing up now. Yes,
Yeah,
let's try to wrap this thing
Kerry
up.
in Florida. He's in Florida.
No, not yet. We got your guy Leroy telling us to keep it up. This show will definitely go places.
Jeez, we got it now.
Thank you.
And we got people from Philadelphia checking in. People from Winnipeg.
Whoa.
We got people coming in, and our man Tom Marino has been on for a good hour now, man.
Thanks, Tom. We appreciate you, man.
So Tom Marino said he sent the video for the painting to Darren, so maybe he'll share that with us during the week.
Right, great.
So,
Great, man.
And Tyler, your father said he's still here.
Jeez, I'm proud of you, Pops. I'm proud of you.
All the old people up late, man.
You can tell who's retired now, huh? You can tell all the retirees.
What's up, Kerry? Say what? Let's go back to Kerry. Right off the short early. No, oh dear. Oh dear.
Early. He in a different time zone.
Yeah.
What time is it in Florida?
Tom Marino, he misses the action.
Brett, you can't get something set up that they could send it right to the Journey show? Like if Tom wanted to send that to the Journey show?
I mean,
all of this is on Facebook and the YouTube channels. They post the comments whenever they feel at different times.
If he had
so
a
when the
WhatsApp
show is
numbers and
recorded,
stuff,
they show up.
We gotta give Tom our WhatsApp numbers, man, and or Facebook things where he could send us a messenger and those kind of stuff. So we'll hook up with Tom, man, and work something out.
Well,
so
and then you would probably get little tidbits from other people too, to just to give you ideas or things to talk about, or
right. That's what the show's about, man. We just we engage him with the public and everybody. Cause we are horsemen.
And women.
Horsemen.
Horse people.
Horse.
You gotta be correct.
Horsemen and horsewomen. I'm very sorry. Thanks for fixing me.
I've been through the Me Too movement. I know how it works.
But I mean, we gotta keep this conversation going among ourselves, because I got that though from Gordy Colburn. You know what I mean? He said he loved this show. Horse people talking to horse people, and he loved that about it, and that's what every one of us here, we've done it in some way or another, working with horses, and people we bring on the show, that's what they do. We try to bring the best of whoever. I mean, we brought two of the best writers that was from that era. You know what I mean? We had Sandy Hawley,
Sandy and George.
Yeah.
George, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're two of the best writers in that era that did it all, and I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight, man. I think it's so fun.
Well, you are your own, Sean, because I gotta sleep just now.
I gotta sleep tonight.
Listen. One morning, Brett Callahan. One day he was up at 1 o'clock and he was sending messages, ping, 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 ping.
I saw them too, Sean. I saw them too. Yeah, so he's only talking now.
I said, you don't sleep? I don't sleep much. Anyway, I just tuned him out. I got him at my usual time at 4 o'clock, and he was still up. He was still up.
If I'm gonna do anything, I do it to the best of my ability, and if I means running the show good, I running it good.
I mean, Lord, man.
There you go.
I mean, I'm glad you're on my side, though. I'm glad.
But Chris, Sean, I had a conversation 2 days ago. I was reading up on what's the music service, Spotify and them things to get the show on.
Yeah.
Everybody advising us to keep it below 83 minutes. We've gone over 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Hey,
I know what Sean told me. We can try and keep it shorter and tighter today.
Yeah, you know who started that 3 hour business? That one, Leroy.
Leroy started.
Well, there's only one buddy
we
who
can come.
made it for Patrick husband is the only body who spoke for 4 hours, and he got cut off. And it's a good thing because he would have gone for like 8 hours.
He still be talking.
Yeah.
Show will still be going.
When his phone dropped, I was like, good. I think that's a good thing because I know this guy. It was almost like 12 o'clock, and I know Patrick the man has messaged me all 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning.
No
So I know he doesn't sleep. So.
As Patrick's phone cut out, Sean said, "We better go." Click.
Let me go before you put in charger.
Let's turn this off before he finds us.
And he was angry the next day, man. He was saying, I had so much more to say. My phone did that.
See, what we missed with that was what he had to say would have tied everything together, right?
Sean, I'm straight with no bangs, okay? I've been hearing that for weeks after, straight with no bangs.
Roger that.
Okay?
Roger that.
Roger that.
Sean,
Roger
Sean
that.
Roy, after interviewing Jono, our first guest,
yes.
After an hour and a half, John will get tired.
Yes.
And we hang up and we finish the show, and Sean, Leroy, and I ain't so sure what happened. And all of a sudden, John will bing, bing, bing. I got more to talk about. Call me back. I see John the next day, man. I got so much more to talk about. Why y'all didn't keep me on? I'm like, John is an hour and a half.
Save it for the next show.
John Jones started to wobble under pressure, and we put the stick on him, and we really wrote him out. And we squeezed every ounce of him. And the good horse that he is, he got a second breath. and one of the race was over. He's still looking to run off in the jock.
That was Jono's first answer. So, Jono, did you always want to ride? Yep. Okay, that's the show, folks. Thanks for coming.
Yes. But listen, man, I did an interview with Ricky Walker the other day, and Ricky Walker was worse than Jono. His yet was so short, I almost fell down. I lost my train of thought. I said, Ricky, I gotta stop because it was so violent how he cut me off with just a short word. And I didn't know what to say to him after that. I was kind of like, I don't know how to, but my man, Sean Miller, don't forget Sean Miller. He's the guy who does all the graphics and that kind of stuff. And Sean said, Sean, try it this way, ask him these questions, and see what happens, Sean. I said, you sure? He said, yes, just try it, Sean, try it. I said, all right. And it worked, man. I got 10 minutes out of him. You know what I mean? But it was crazy though. He gave me some short ones, man. I mean, when the first short one, I felt like I got punched in my guts. You know what I mean? It was like,
the man said he said it violent, man. A violent.
Violent.
That's a serious yep, boy, and it's violent.
No, man. I mean, so John wasn't as bad as Ricky Walker was. Ricky Walker was so bad that I couldn't. He lost my train of thoughts. I didn't know what to do. I don't usually lose train of thoughts, but I mean, I got it back with my buddy Sean Miller.
Are we gonna get Ricky on for a full 10 minutes shortly in the coming weeks? But
Yes,
look at what Tom Marino thinks. We can go national, Sean.
Oh, there.
Leroy, Chris, Tyler.
Tom, come on,
yeah,
Tom.
as long as
national. You mean from Christchurch to St. Philip? Christchurch to St. Lucie?
I thought you mean all of Fort Erie.
No, man. I listen, man. I think that's why I told you guys, right? The more, the merrier. When you got more guys talking, it brings everybody's personality out, and then everybody gets comfortable, and we feel like we're just in the barn talking. And
I think we need to do like Emma says, and we need to get a Mount Gay silver in each of our hands.
Listen, Emma never came to Barbados in her life, but she knows about Mount Gay silver. Okay, I don't know.
No, Emma ain't easy, you know. Emma ain't easy. Emma.
Sean, I'm gonna have to come to Barbados.
No,
I'm gonna have to come to Barbados. Barbados went to Emma.
Sean, you want to advertise who's on next?
Pardon me. Pardon me.
You want to advertise who's on next?
Leroy's boy wants to know who's on the show next.
We have.
You want to go down under and give him the answer?
Yes, we have one of the champion jockeys in Australia by the name of Darren Gauchi. He's won 34 grade one stake races, and this guy is being loved by Australia. He never won the Melbourne Cup. He came second 3 times, but he won everything else though. He won everything else. He won the Australian Greats, and I met him when I was 17 years old. He was 18, and I had a picture. I got lucky because Jason Smith, which is Scobie Breezy's grandson, who lives in Australia still, and I asked him if he knows him, and I sent Jason the picture that we took when we were youngsters, you know. So I sent a message. I said, you know, I'm sending you this picture because I know you might not remember me because the meeting was brief, but you must remember this picture because I was the only black guy who was riding horses in Australia around this time. So I know it would bring back a memory.
Easy to remember.
And it worked. It worked, guys. It worked. We had a chuckle about that. Man. But he's a great guy, great champion, and you know, he's in charge of the riding school down there now in Australia, in Melbourne.
This is going to be the one time you need a translator for the island people to understand what he's saying.
He's good, man. Right. Good day, mate. You know, just good day, mate.
This is the one time the agent's going to be saying, what did he say?
Well, Chris, you heard the word Sean just used?
What?
A chuckle.
A chuckle?
Chuckle, yeah.
Sean, I never heard that word in years. A chuckle.
I'm in a groove right now, guys. You're gonna hear. I might speak some Spanish on you, man. You know?
Don't say nothing too violent.
Speaking of I might go Latin on your ass, man. You know. I'm in the groove right now.
Speaking of future guest, Sean, guys, I don't know if she's up and watching, but I'm not letting her off the hook yet. Sonia Perkins.
Yes.
We want you on the show.
Yes, man. She's got to.
Shout her out loud and hard, Chris. Shout her out. I saw her at the beach.
She's got to come on the show, man. She's got to come
on. I saw her at
the
the beach. Okay.
I want Canadians and everybody to hear her story.
Yes,
right.
Yes, and we got to play Malik singing Sonia, right? Because she got the song name after her.
You have to.
That's how we get introduced her to the show. That's the show. This introduction.
Only female in the history of Caribbean racing to ever win leading rider titles.
Yes,
that's huge.
Come on, man.
Sonia Perkins is so competitive, right? I told Sonia, I saw her at the beach. I said, Sonia, you know, I really want you to be the first lady on the show, but you know, we got Chantel, and you know, she did a really good job. She said, but she can't do a better job than me. And I will be on. I will let you know.
Chris Griffin was her agent. Yeah.
I've been pressing her to come on, man.
Yes. So
and Leroy, one more comment from Marlo Bella.
Thing now we're calling out Sonia Perkins.
Don't think we forget. We still want you on the show, Sonia.
We still want you. You're still Sonia Perkins. I knew Sonia Perkins.
Yes, Leroy.
Wait, Sean, look what this kid just wrote here, man.
What's that? Oh, there.
That's about the same rider you just spoke about?
Yes, sir.
The Australian Jockey.
He won that as an apprentice, man.
This kid is on his own, man.
I want him to do more research and give us some tips before the next show, because I don't know about the Darren Gauchi guy.
I don't think this kid is an 11-year-old, man. He's so young into this game.
And what he's saying there
is
correct.
Siri nowadays, Leroy.
Huh?
All you gotta do is say Siri.
Oh, yeah, okay.
My daughters do it all the time. Siri, do this.
No, but look at the other days. He's a 3-time champion, man. And look, he's right.
Yeah.
No.
When I met Darren Gauchi, he was an apprentice in 1983. I went there. We left. Let me see. We would have left India in 83.
Chris, that 40 years ago.
You notice how quiet I am because I wasn't born yet.
We left India in January, the 1st of January, 1984. And I got hurt. A horse fell on top of me, so I couldn't ride when I got to Australia. And we went to, I think it was Colin Hayes' barn to do this, to meet and that kind of stuff. And I met Darren. And one thing I noticed, he was driving a red sports car, and he was like, I said, this guy's only 18. Is he driving that? You know what I mean? And so it tells you, man, this guy was ruling the roost already at that age, 83, 84. I think he came second in the Melbourne's Cup, I think that year too. So he's done some great things, and
we look forward to the next show, Sean.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to do, man, I'm trying to, we got to speak to everybody around the world, man, and that's who's done great things.
That's cool. That's cool to get a guy from there. That's
you know what I mean. You gotta remember, man.
Chris, we got a fixing time zone issue though.
Yeah,
I don't know when the next show will be on.
Right now it's morning there. It's morning, so we done fixed that already.
You mean it's morning there? It feel like morning here too.
Isn't it tomorrow night there? They're like a whole day ahead of us, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's
14 hours
ahead of us, so it'll be like 11 o'clock, it'll be like 1 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah, so it's afternoon.
Well, you better get it right. You better get the time right, Sean. That when we know what time it is here, time it is there.
And I spoke to him.
You see how serious Leroy just get? You better get that right, Sean.
Listen, I got it right.
Figure this out, Sean.
I got it right. I told him. I said,
you're calling me. Have me stand here with nobody to talk to, Sean.
No. I spoke to him. I said, listen, the show is going to start at 7 o'clock, which is like 7. That'd be 9 o'clock your time. We speak for like 2 hours. We get 2 hours out of you. And
give or take 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, give or take 2 hours, because we got to respect the time difference now. Yeah. We got to respect the time difference. And this is the first time we can be doing a show from somebody in Australia. And I mean, we're always in contact with Jason Smith. I got to give big thanks to Jason Smith for talking to him for me. It was brilliant,
Chris,
man.
we got our research dude working, man.
Yeah, man.
Long Row, we have some horses here in Barbados who's by Long Row, so yeah.
We got a Long Rose gizmo, Leroy.
Yeah.
So he rode that horse in the Coffee Guinea. So this kid is right, man.
It's
Sherry
12:45 p.m. in Australia.
Thank you. So we're working on it. We don't have to get this long. We can get 2 hours out of it and we'll be happy for our first Australian guest. I mean, it'd be great.
All right.
Well, guys, we're wrapping up the show tonight. Thanks for coming in. Good. Everyone, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook pages. Let us know in your comments who you want to hear from in the future. Give us an idea where you're calling from when you log on. We want to know from all parts of the world who we are reaching.
Correct.
From Journeys, the talk show, host Sean Hall, Leroy Trotman, racing correspondents Tyler Gaskin and Chris Griffith, and Brett Callahan, and we're signing off from here. As Sean says, we out.
We out.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.